causes, which is 1% of a population around the world, they negate natural causes. They negate their own crime that they could have. I mean, there are other reasons people die in a country, and every single death is being tagged on this.
And here's the problem: nobody actually is going to actually investigate the United Nations as to why they did not distribute those aids and try to freaking blame it on Israel. They literally blamed it on Israel for something they themselves would not do.
But Phonics, isn't this reminiscent of what the PLO did? For instance, during the quote-unquote military occupation of Israel, 25 independent news outlets, were being funded. They were well-funded. They were critical of Israel. They were having free speech and freedom of expression, right? As soon as Yasser Arafat took over, what happened? All 25 of them shut down. All the money and the funds funneled into Yasser Arafat's red pens, right?
He became a billionaire.
And guess what? Antonio Guterres is never going to get investigated for actually holding those aids. And when he says that, because he wouldn't wait for the blue, it's called the blue vehicles, where Hamas actually escorts these aids to the area, and they were saying, why the hell are you actually being escorted by Hamas? If you are being escorted by Hamas, we're going to shoot those guys. No shit, they're going to do that. So, I mean, this is crazy talk. It's like, are you guys, whose side are you on, UN? Are you the side of the terrorists, or are you side of Israel? It's like normal people. Like, it seems like even the UN doesn't know the distinction between terrorists and non-terrorists at this point.
Yes, because to them, when me and Phonics have a war, right? I should be sending aid to Phonics' house. This is them. So in other words, these are the same people that want this war to perpetuate.
What would your concern be to end this war then?
Well, exactly what international law stipulates. We actually had a land for peace deal with Egypt, and we literally signed a binding agreement saying that if you actually go back to war with us, we're going to take your land and then some. We did exactly the same deal with Gaza when we did a land for peace deal, and guess what? They attacked us, so therefore we had supposed to take their land and give their population of Gaza back to Egypt, which they were part of to begin with.
Egypt doesn't want them in Egypt. Egypt doesn't want them. They've already attacked them.
And we're willing to go to war with them to send them back to their own nation.
Why does Egypt not want them? Phonics, because every other country in the Middle East that has taken in the past 40 to 50 years that has taken in so-called Palestinians, whatever they are, right? And it's funny, there's no such thing as a Palestinian ethnicity. There's no such thing really. You are either Kurdish, or you're Algerian, or you're Tunisian, or you're Egyptian, or you're Turkish, right? Really, there's none. But anyway, these so-called Palestinians, why don't they take them in? When they went into Kuwait, what did they do? Kidnapping ministers' wives, kidnapping ministers' kids, killing their kids, killing ministers, assassination missions, right? Undermining governments. The same thing they did in Jordan. What do you think King Hussein did to them? In the matter of about, 2-3 months? Not 2 years, but 2-3 months. He killed over, 20,000-30,000?
Yes.
In 2-3 months?
So the leader... And if the leader of Egypt did exactly that after he sent the Palestinians over to the border, then that's on them, not on Israel, by the way. Because if you're thinking,
but is that not the difference between Sunni and Shia? Is that not a different war?
What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Sorry? Well, what about Sunni and Shia? I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I'm talking about the difference between Muslim countries. Like, obviously, there's a divide, isn't there?
Oh no, it has no bearing on the subject for one particular reason.
No.
Iran supports Hamas, despite the ideological opposition.
So that's a Sunni,
right?
That's a Sunni.
Yes, because Hamas is an armed wing of the Muslim Brotherhood.
Okay.
Ahmed Yassin and Mus'ab Yusuf, who founded this organization, under charitable organizations. They actually transformed into an armed military wing of the Muslim Brotherhood, Al-Ikhwan al-Muslimin.
Okay.
But the agenda is really simple. Why does Iran support an organization's armed wing, despite the fact that they ideologically oppose Iran existentially? Why? Because the agenda is simple. The agenda is simple. They agree on many fronts, on many points. Killing of
You
Jews.
believe it's an anti-Semitic
It is.
agenda?
It is anti-Semitism. It is. Because Islamic eschatology predicates itself on the eradication of Jews and the establishment of an Islamic utopia, Pax Islamica, the Islamic peace, as they call it Darul Islam. So this is something that is well established within the doctrines. Not to mention the killing of homosexuals, regardless of whether you are trans, gay, lesbian, whatever you are.
Alpha, quit bringing that up. You don't care. You were really rude to me when you first came up here. Quit acting like you care about the
I'm rude to you
LGBTQ.
as a
You
person,
don't.
not for your
No,
joke.
that doesn't matter. You don't care. You're fake.
Well,
Use that as an
fine.
argument.
Sure. If I didn't have two gay cousins, I would have believed you. Anyway.
That doesn't mean
It's really
anything.
simple.
You're rude.
Okay? These people don't care. Right now, let me give you the Muslim Association.
You're no different. You're no different, Alpha. You don't care.
Sure. The Muslim Lebanese Association published a fatwa in 2023. Okay? A fatwa means a legal ruling literally calling for the genocide of homosexuals. This is after a week when all these...
We're moving on from the homosexual talk from you. You don't care. No, You've been talking this whole time. Let somebody else...
Let me speak, okay?
You've said enough, Alpha. You've said enough.
Now, what is this? What is this?
What do you mean, what is this? You were rude to me whenever I came up here. I can't be rude to you? What, it's only necessary to be rude to me? Yeah, exactly.
Please, keep control of the room wherever you are. We've had our fun. Let's try and have a serious one now, yeah?
These people went out there, well-intentioned, for the sake of humanity. The Muslim Lebanese Association turns around and literally passes, okay, a death sentence on them.
On who?
Can you believe that?
On who? On who?
The
Homosexuals?
LGBT community.
You're still bringing this shit up? You don't
Okay.
care for them. You are so rude to LGBTQ people. You don't give a fuck about them.
Palestine, not me.
You don't give a fuck about them. You're no different than fucking Hamas to them when you're up here talking shit.
Like,
No,
this
you-
is
we-
quite
we-
honest. To be quite honest with you, with regards to Israel, their level of acceptance to the LGBT community, it's the same as my country.
Absolutely. 100%. It is very...
See, that's the difference. And there's many more differences. What the Western audience doesn't understand is that you cannot try to understand the Middle East, this melting pot part of Asia and Asia at large, by trying to use Western lenses. It doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen. Let me give you an example. When you look at the way people talk about positionality, right? And this is something very well established in the humanities, the idea of positionality.
Bobby, please, come on.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Why is that even funny?
They're just
No,
trying to derail the
don't
point.
Barbie
It's an
please
ego
me.
problem.
This dude was rude to me from the jump.
We know, we'll sort it out.
Sorry, can we just stop now and
Why are you centering yourself?
let Alpha speak and then
Because
we want to...
Alpha wants attention. He's been speaking for 30 minutes.
Well,
Dude,
it's...
I
You've
have
been laughing and telling.
He's making
I just barely came off mute, Simon. Chill out. Get out of your feelings.
Literally pretty calm. You're laughing.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Okay, I didn't know. Laughing triggers you, Simon? Man.
Well, when someone's speaking and making a point, and you're just laughing hysterically, yeah, it's kind of annoying.
So what? Laughing is wrong? You can't laugh on a panel? Are you in?
You can, but mute your mic.
Well,
No, I can do whatever I want. Please.
Can I say something, please? We're trying to have a serious political discussion here. I know maybe he insulted you. You guys can sort that out together. This is quite a serious
Hey,
topic.
Tobias, let me say something. He's the one bringing up LGBTQ. Okay.
You explained that already, Bobby. You explained
but
that.
he keeps bringing it up, Tobias. Why are you whining, Tobias? Why am I whining?
I'm trying to keep control of the
Whining.
room.
You're not keeping control of the room right now. You're just irritating it right now. You heard Alpha.
Who made you?
Yeah, because you're a bigot. You're a bigot. You're a fake. You're a fake, Alpha. You're a fake. You're coming up here talking shit to me, but yet you're so worried for the LGBTQ. You're bullshit. You're a bullshitter.
I'm sorry, do you have something to say?
It doesn't matter. You're a bullshitter. You're a bullshitter. You're a bullshitter, Alpha.
It has nothing to do with your sexuality.
Okay, shut up, Alpha. Move on. Move on, Alpha. Somebody else
I
wants to
might
talk.
be a dickhead to you too.
I don't care, Simon. I'm about to be a dick to you, Simon. Don't start. Don't get me on.
Why would somebody use the LGBTQ plus community as an argument? My question would be, why would they use it as an argument for something when they have no care for those people anyway?
Well, I've been in enough rooms with Alpha to know.
Why not
No,
having
I
care
have
for
respect for you,
people?
Barbie. That doesn't mean I don't respect.
He said that he has gays in his family, Enigma. The fact that he has a problem with Barbie doesn't mean that he has a
But
problem with gay
Daniel,
people.
there are plenty of people that have gay people in their family who shun them.
Yeah, but why do you think that he is one of them? Hold on, but Enigma, the fact that he had a fight with Barbie, which is part of the LGBT
Look at these
community,
men trying to
it doesn't mean
defend
Bobby, I'm a man. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. I can speak. And the
I
fact
don't
that
know
he
if
had a
you're a
fight
man.
with
I don't know
Barbie.
if you're a man. I don't know if you're one either.
Can we get rid of
Wow.
this person? This is
The
really
fact that she had a...
Actually, can we get rid of this
No,
person?
George.
I'm
No,
speaking
George.
to
There you go.
Enigma. I'm speaking to Enigma for a second. Enigma, the fact that Alpha had whatever it was with Barbie doesn't mean that it's about the gay community. He is a person.
It was when
And
he called me a man. He called me a man when he came up here. He
You called
targeted
me a
me
man.
in my identity.
You
It
called
doesn't
me a
matter.
man.
Are you not a man? You just said you're a man.
But you called me a man.
It
As
doesn't
a-
matter.
like a
That's what you
derogatory.
identify as. That's what you
But
identify
it has
as,
nothing
right?
to do with the gay community.
Alpha and
It's you
Norma
person.
were rude to
Oh
me.
my God,
Why are
I'm
you
trying to tell
defending
Enigma.
bigotry?
Enigma.
Why are you
Enigma,
defending
it has nothing
bigotry,
to do with the
Daniel?
gay community.
No, why are you defending bigotry, Daniel? You're literally defending hateful fucking hate speech. When I'm defending myself, now you have something to say, Daniel. Don't do that. Don't.
He is not talking about you.
Daniel,
He's not. You came up here.
Daniel, do you
Yes.
feel passionate about the fact that people want to eradicate every Israeli so that they can occupy from the river to the sea as a...
Sorry,
Okay,
can I
okay.
interject here?
Hang on, I'm talking,
I know
Orlando.
you're talking, and you're talking very well, but could I...
No, you can't. You've come back up when you learnt some manners. So you're going to talk quite passionately about that, aren't you? You're going to get a little bit irate sometimes. This is what happens. Barbie has always experiences hate, whether it's from Muslims, Christians, goodness knows what else, even Jewish people like El Normo. So when people are using her community, but also badgering her, it's very easy for all of us to go, well, look, we're not talking about that. We're not, it's not really an issue. It is a fucking issue. It's a big issue.
Enigma, he was talking about the community. He wasn't
Steve.
talking about her.
Barbie is a
Steve.
Hold on. Can I reply?
Her sexuality.
Can I reply to her for a second?
Yeah.
Can I reply to her for a second, Alpha? I'm sorry that I'm speaking because on your behalf, because as a listener. He was speaking about the gay community in different
She was
places.
speaking. Barbie is a
What
woman.
do you mean she? I'm talking about Alpha. And Alpha is a man. And he was speaking about the gay community, not about Barbie.
Yeah.
And I'm also part of the LGBT, and I'm also part of the gay community, and I'm also part of the gay community, and there's nothing that he said was against the gay community.
When he first came up here, he started talking shit to me because he didn't like me talking shit to El Normo, who has had a problem with me for many shows now. That's why Alpha called me a man and was very rude to me. I defended myself. Now every
I'm not
time
talking
he gets a
about
chance, he
you.
mentions
I'm
the
talking to
LGBT.
Enigma. Hold on, please. I'm talking to Enigma. I'm not talking about you at all.
I get that.
I
But
didn't
you're
mention
bringing me up, though.
I didn't bring you up. I said that he wasn't talking about you.
Can I
I'm
say one
actually
thing?
Bringing me up. That's
Let me
bringing
say
me
one
up.
thing.
I can
Let me
defend
say something.
myself.
Let me
Okay,
say something.
try.
Let me say something. Bobby, you know I've always supported you, right? And you know that. So I don't appreciate you. I don't appreciate you telling me that I'm whining. Okay, I'm not whining. I'm just trying to keep control.
I don't appreciate you trying to monitor me. I don't do that to you.
I'm not trying to
do that to you when you're.
I'm just trying to keep control of the room and make sure the conversation stays respectful and productive. I'm not trying to monitor you.
But when you do that, when I'm defending myself, it adds more like flame to the to the pit here.
Bro, you're
it's
a
just best to just let it happen. Shut up, Alpha. Shut up. See, look at this. How am I not supposed to defend myself against this, Tobias? How?
Okay, so I'll just say nothing.
You don't get targeted like that, Tobias. Has anyone called you a faggot, a girl on here? No, they haven't. They called me a man, called me a dude. They called me, after being corrected, they're still disrespecting me, and y'all are all concentrating on how mean I am?
I didn't say you were mean. I'm just saying I want to keep control of the room, that's all. It's not about you, it's about just a collective thing, you know?
Yeah, it is about me when they're bringing me up. It is about me when they're bringing me up. Okay, the problem is me right now that y'all have a problem with me. So yes, it is.
I never said that. That's your words, not mine. I never said that.
Yeah, but you just wanted to call me out though. You just sat there and said, Barbie, let me tell you this. So therefore, you're making it about me.
Because you said I was whining. You said I was whining. I'm not whining.
Right, exactly. And I said that because you kept talking over me and monitoring me, telling me to chill out, telling me to get back to the conversation.
What's the first thing I do when I bring you up? The first thing I do is moderate you every time. So don't talk to me like I'm an aggressor. Cool, all right. Okay, good.
Okay, yeah, great, exactly.
You know I respect you. That's why I do that. That's why I'm just trying to keep control of the rooms. I want this conversation to be interesting and conducive, right, to the topic. That's all. Nothing to do with you personally. I don't even know what the fuck was said between each other. I wasn't even listening. I was busy making a fucking
So then why say anything?
Yeah.
So then why?
Because I'm trying to keep control of the room. I'm trying to keep control of the room.
You want to keep control of the room when you don't know what was said, Tobias? Does that make sense?
How long do you guys need to talk about it until it's sorted? Like how?
He brought it up. He brings it up. He wants to defend the LGBTQ, but yet shits on LGBTQ, Tobias. Why are you missing that?
Well, he's not in the room now, so I mean, it should be over, right?
Exactly. No, Alpha's still here.
How did I shit on the LGBT? Explain.
You are Alpha. When you came up here, you were talking shit, calling me a man, calling me all kinds of shit. Yes, you were. You were targeting me. I am a trans person, okay? So therefore, you don't have any respect. What if I did that to you and your cause? What if I shitted on you and called you a nasty Jew or a nasty this and a nasty that? You would call me all kinds of xenophobic and bigoted and racist, but I can't call you a fucking transphobic piece of shit when you're being transphobic to me, Alpha.
None of that applies to me. So keep crying.
Yes, it does. And if you don't want to hear it, you're a fucking psychopath. Move on. No. Bye. Quit asking to come up here if you're just. Hey Orlando, welcome back. Did you have something to say?
I just wondered why it's all got very heated.
Were you not listening?
Of course I was listening, but what I would like to say is, like, why is it so difficult for people to converse in a way that's not so argumentative?
Well, because this is an app, it's social, feelings, when people are passionate, emotions flare. This is normal psyche of the human person. When emotions flare, we're gonna react. Not everybody reacts the same though, Orlando. You might handle certain problems on here differently, maybe calmer, somebody would say. But I'm the kind of person that doesn't really do that. Why? Because maybe my life I've been affected differently than you have by life. I am a trans person. When I get off of here, the bullying doesn't stop, Orlando. It never stops for me. Okay. So when I get on here, when I get on here and it's continuing, I'm gonna be a bitch and I'm gonna get defensive. And it's funny though, everybody on here has been exactly. Hold on. Why are you talking over me? Hold on. Can I just finish my thought here? You asked me, and I'm telling you. Yeah, exactly. I just barely started talking. Anyways, like I'm trying to say, everybody on here has been exactly where I am right now. Okay, they have been mad, they have been angry, they have said things they weren't supposed to, right? Why is it a big deal when I do it? Why? Because y'all want to stay in the conversation? Well, look, when y'all are bringing up LGBTQ people, I'm going to definitely say something about that. And Orlando, you're more than welcome to come back, but you weren't. Y'all should see the nasty messages that I'm getting in my back chats, and I'm supposed to chill out over this. Yes, Orlando. What is it now?
I apologise. I was kicked from the room. I'm not sure why, but
yeah, because you kept talking over me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No worries, you're back up.
The one thing I would say is like,
This is out.
Orlando, we cannot hear you. Or is it just me?
hey, I'm back. Am I back?
Yep,
Hello?
loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Okay, brilliant. One thing I would say is like, would you not want to have some kind of conversation with other people without talking over them?
Well, that's what you were doing, Orlando, the whole time.
Do you think that question, now that the room's kind of calmed down a bit, is conducive to moving forward, or are you trying to relight the fire and be a gaslighter?
I don't. No, I wouldn't like to gaslight.
You sound like you're very unsure with yourself, Orlando.
You sound like you're very unsure with yourself as well.
Do I? What are you going to do about that then?
Well, I'd ask you where you came from.
My mother's vagina canal.
Okay. Is there any possible part of your life that you would think about that's made you kind of unsure of yourself?
No, not at all. I can ask the same thing about you. Is that why you're stuttering and stammering over your words?
Yes, possibly.
Okay.
I've not talked to a celebrity before, so...
I'm not a celebrity.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Who said I was a celebrity?
Well, I think...
Do you see me as a celebrity? Do you think that I'm...
I suppose so, yeah.
Okay, well, do you want my autograph?
No, I don't think that...
Okay. This conversation is boring. Should we get back to something a bit more meaty?
Well,
yeah, let's do it, Enigma. Orlando, we're moving on. George and Kitty, welcome. Do y'all have anything to say to the top?
Yeah, I'm so ashamed that I made myself clear the past few days with my PTRs of Noah and Shem and Japheth. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed forever. I'm ashamed forever. I have little will to continue living. I'm ashamed forever.
Noah got very drunk.
It was only by the light of Torah.
When he got very drunk in his tent, and was it Ham, I think, walked in on him. He was more often, well, more likely than not, he was masturbating.
Oh, how do you know that?
Because the brothers had to, take out the brother because he was in such shock of what he had sinned and the sin of it all.
Yes. Go on.
Yes, yeah, I'm listening.
Are you done, Enigma? Or do you want me to? Can I address the title?
You can address the title.
Please.
I'll be kind of quick. Okay, so it says, why do Hamas allow the starvation of their own people? And I think allow kind of means that they are not actually the one manufacturing it or causing it, or I think allowing is a bit too weak, not too weak, maybe a bit misleading, that there's like an external source that they just allow it. No, they basically manufacture it. And the reason why they do this is because a human tragedy in Gaza is basically would put international pressure, as it does, on Israel to stop the war, because Hamas cannot win any other way except international pressure. So that is my addressing title. Thank you.
I agree. I think if Hamas, as a political figurehead governing the people, had the best interest for the people, they wouldn't have spent all the money on the artillery and the missiles and
the
everything in a senseless war that they're never going to win.
It was the tunnel system, basically, that was the most expensive.
Hello. I really don't care what Hamas is doing at this point. My concern only is for my country, which is America first. I don't feel that we have any footing in this situation that's going on between those two countries. And as long as I can remember, and just being an American citizen, to know the countless times that people have been dragged into these wars. We had the thing with the Saddam Hussein, and we actually found out there were no weapons of mass destruction, and my cousin got blown up into pieces from a landmine going out to serve in that war. So
Sorry, can I interject? That's such a horrible thing.
Orlando, hold on, Orlando, let her finish.
I just want to say that's very, very.
No, Orlando, no, Orlando. That means be quiet. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay,
I just want them to not be involved. I just feel as though, and this is just not with Israel, I just feel as though America itself involves itself into others countries, trying to bring their ideology to their country. Just let those people do what they want. You get what I'm saying? Like, let them do what they want. If it's a big issue, then let the ICJ or whoever this council, the internet, let them come in and decide that. I've been tired of my country fighting these wars that I feel as though we're really not supposed to be meddling ourselves into. I don't really care what the people of Iran or over there are going through, or their religious oppression. That's them. If they want to move out of that and they want to get away from that, then let that be their choice. I don't feel that we have to insert ourselves in every single conflict, because while we're sending money over to help our ally Israel, we still have homelessness. We still have
American citizens in Israel.
So,
you have American citizens in Israel as well. Do you not want to protect them?
No,
Yeah, we do.
because I honestly don't, because like I said, you're American first. So if they want to be dual citizens, again, that's on them. I'm happy where I'm at. I don't think I would ever.
What about the dual citizens? What about the non-dual citizens that are just there, maybe on holiday, that are also needing respite and care to get back? I mean, in Britain, luckily we got some more of our British back to us, not before some of them were killed and injured. But I also think that when we start saying, well, we shouldn't really be getting involved in certain things with other countries, what we're really saying is we don't care if people are, in need or whatever. Let's just put ourselves first. And to me, that doesn't sound.
First, and I don't care. And I know that you're British, and you can be, like Brit first. It wouldn't faze me. I wouldn't care, because that's how you're supposed to be for your country. You get what I'm saying?
Just like, do you not think that's why we have so many wars? Because people, they're so desensitized and to the fact that there are some people in other countries that don't want to be oppressed.
That's not our job. We're not.
You're speaking from a place of privilege.
We're not super saver-hos. We don't do that.
Let me try and explain it. Right. So, the U.S.-Israel sort of relationship is not like other international relationships, right? It's much more unique than that, mainly because Israel is a democracy surrounded by many countries that don't share the same values. So unlike other places where the U.S. has had like interests, Israel stands for things that they don't, right? Things that the U.S. can relate to, like freedom and democracy. Yes, no, so let me just finish. So the whole point I'm making is that let me finish. I
can speak in them.
No, you. Oh my God, is she serious?
Very serious, yes.
Well, stop talking then.
Look,
it makes the situation different. Let me finish my point. I'm gonna have to beat you, okay? It makes the situation very different. The US isn't just helping like any other. Why are you giggling now? What's wrong with you?
Because you made a crazy statement.
Oh, you're out of there. You're fucking out of it. Bye. What a fucking crazy bitch.
Okay.
What a crazy bitch.
Can I pick up the mantle there? So it was the British in the 50s that created the State of Israel. And yeah, can you go from there?
But you'll find it was the 40s.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. It is the 1940s. You're right. Yes. So we basically created a state there. But could Tobias finish his point?
I was almost at the end of my point, which is that it makes the situation different because the US isn't just helping like any other country. It's backing a close ally that faces all these threats, and Israel provides important intelligence and military support and helps keep both countries safe. So when people say, the US shouldn't support Israel in the same way they're trying to say, shouldn't be intervening in other countries, they miss how special and important this alliance really is. It's more than just politics, which is obviously what that silly woman that was in here a second ago who couldn't string a sentence together doesn't understand. It's about standing with a democratic partner in a dangerous region.
Necessarily a structure. I mean, it's why we have Israel in the Eurovision Song Contest.
No, that's not the reason, actually. Israel is part of the EBU, the European Broadcasting Union. Also, Australia is part of it. Also, Egypt is part of it. There are many countries that are part of it. It's not European, despite the name.
But what I'm saying is it's an ideology. Europe is an ideology, whereas I mean, you can't tell me that Israel or Australia are in Europe.
No, we're not in Europe. We're part of the EPU. Like, there's a difference, not basically based on ideology. It's part of, there are few requirements. But just to the point of the United States, the United States doesn't put foot on the ground in Israel or fight our wars at any point.
No, I wasn't saying that.
No, I was saying to addressing the point that was said before. And the aid that Israel is getting, many Americans never ask what they're getting back, and they never ask what is the alternative cost if we stop this funding of Israel defense system. Because they never ask what they're getting back and what is the alternative cost, which is about 7 times more.
So I would probably say it's something like Midway Island, which is a British-owned island, but it's a military base, so it's like a stopover. And I think it was the one that was used for the Falkland Wars, so it was a base to refuel. So I would say possibly Israel is that kind of state for the Western powers.
No.
Israel
has its own self-interest, which is basically very with me that people don't see, to exist and to survive and to fight our enemies.
No, I completely understand that.
And
but
we are
what
not.
I'd say is for a Western government or a Western
intelligence
power,
not as an army, not as a base, as intelligence.
It's not forwarding base to attack where you want to attack.
The United States have bases all over the Middle East. They don't really need Israel. In fact, in Israel, they don't have a base.
Is that too much of a simple answer? Sorry.
So why would that be too much of a simple answer?
Sorry, Tobias, say it again.
Why would that be too much of a simple answer?
Because I thought it was, obviously a very, a very important place to have your bases for certain things like aircrafts. I mean, we could talk about nuclear power as well. If you had nuclear weapons.
Yeah, it's not. I'm trying to say, so it's a close ally of the US, but it's not like a hub for American military bases. Is that what you're getting at? That it should be a hub for American military bases? Is that what you're saying?
I think it is a hub for.
But it's not a hub.
It's not.
Yeah, the reason, look. The US already has strong military bases in other countries like Qatar,
Saudi Arabia, and Georgia.
Yeah, they are much better suited for that sort of thing, right?
Okay.
But, Israel's military is very capable on its own. Doesn't need the US. That's not hopeful thinking. This is actually
true, because the Israeli-Egyptian war, they were basically about to be wiped out before the US put their fighter planes and gave their fighter planes to Israel. It was their
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
I just wanted to ask real quick, where do you get your information, Orlando? What do you just Google this, or where do you get your sources?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Possibly, I don't know. I do research stuff, but I'm willing to learn. So I'm here as maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
And I'm quite happy to be.
So Alana, did you sorry, Bobby. Have you finished what you want to say? I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
Okay, thanks. Were you referring to the Yom Kippur War? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, but Israel didn't depend on the US I mean, the US helped them, but it didn't depend on the US. Like, Israel's own military strength and intelligence capabilities are among the most, like, advanced in the world, right? The US provided, like...
They are now, yes.
Yeah. No, they were then as well. But the US provided important weapons, but it's the same as it was then and is now. Israel fights its own wars and defends itself independently. You know, the value of Israel is more about sort of their intelligence sharing and partnership than like anything like US bases.
Okay, you know, I was talking about the air superiority, like of the Israeli war.
Yeah, the way that it works basically is that with the United States, we basically have collaboration on weapons, including aircraft. So, for example, we get the F-15 and then we make it into the F-15I. The I represents Israel.
Right.
We make improvement. What?
That's it. No, sorry, carry on.
And then we have like a exclusivity deal with the United States. So we are actually fighting wars, okay? And this is how we help develop and improve weapons that the United States is also creating. Also, at the end, our enemies are the same enemies of the United States. So when we fight our weapons against weapons from Iran or China or Russia, this is the same weapons the United States will be fighting if they would be fighting, when they would be fighting.
Which is exactly what's happening in the Ukraine, I suppose. It's a weapon testing place.
No, again, it's not a weapon testing because we are co-developing. We are also like the Iron Dome is protecting American soldiers all over the world, okay, that we developed. We have a cooperation, okay? It's all and it's beneficial. You need to understand that there are other players in the world that are selling weapons and planes, and we can work with them to improve those weapons. And then, you know, it's a market. If the United States will not sell it, France will sell it, or Russia will sell it, or China will sell it, or manufacture our own, you know?
Okay, that does make sense. Like, one thing I would say is, like, what would your view of what Dwight D. Eisenhower said when he left office, his speech? Do you know that?
Yes, for me? So no.
Well, anybody here.
What did he say when he left office?
Well, you can Google the speech.
Yeah.
It was about.
No, I don't want to do that. I can't be bothered. Just what did he say, bro?
It was about the military complex, the industrial military complex.
Do you want to give us like the point or like leave it at that?
Yeah, well, I can
something about military. No, listen, dudes. You cannot say, "Do you know what he said?" and then go Google it and expect us to kind of. It doesn't make sense. And if this is how you want to end your claim that he said something about military complex,
yeah,
okay?
I don't want to be misquoting him.
All right, so maybe you want to land somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a second.
Can I just address something? George is writing some interesting stuff in the comments. George, are you okay?
Hey, sorry, I'm washing my hands. Yes, I'm terribly ashamed. I think I'm okay. I think I'll get through this. Thank you.
George, what's up, man? What are you upset about? Is this
I'm upset about world history. I'm upset about. I don't care much for it. I've seen everything. I'm amused. It's too tragic for me.
No one's forcing you to watch world politics, bro. You can.
No, I don't watch it.
I don't watch videos. You know, some.
Hey, why is this a response?
No, I'm being honest. I'm not being facetious. I mean, just something that's.
I'm doing my duty. What?
Sorry. Can I? Would you like me to say it, or can I add it to the messaging board?
Go ahead, man.
I can talk. Yeah, I say that. Not very good at reading, but okay. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for this is disastrous rise of misplaced power, and will persist.
And the point you want to make with this is that basically, if you make money out of weapons, you could create situations that will require a weapon.
Exactly.
All right. So I just want to address it from the Israeli perspective. I hope you see that we have zero interest in this. Like, we spend too much money on defense instead of any other thing, and we are fighting an existential war where we are attacked from all fronts. So that's our game.
One thing
We
I
are
would
the one
ask,
initiating. We are like
I would ask
defending
you
ourselves.
is, because obviously I live in the United Kingdom and I have no idea of what war is, whereas you live in a situation where a lot of your countries that surround you are hostile, let's say. What's
I
that feel
went to
like?
the shelter last time.
Wow, okay.
This is our situation, and we are under attack. Manufacturing weapons for us is a necessity to existence, and if it will not be with the United States, we will do it with our fingernails. Not because we want to create weapons, just because we want to live. That's our game. That's our ideology existing.
Well, I mean, that's a different world to me. I can't even imagine what that's like. I mean, you know, my parents and obviously my grandparents would understand what that world feels like, but I can't understand that.
It's good that you admit that, Orlando. It's very emotionally honest, and yeah, I think most people can't understand how incredibly difficult that must be. You know, I mean, I'd imagine, you know, just knowing that danger can come at any moment, air raids, attacks, violence. You know, people live with fear, their families, and uncertainty about the future.
So we have, obviously we have an amygdala. It's your mammalian limbic system, and it's, you know, it fires off every time something happens, like a loud bang.
Fuck.
Why would you like to know why Bibi Netanyahu just admitted that he was starving the Gazans and he just begged the Red Cross to bring in aid? It's his last tweet. Benjamin Netanyahu admits that there's starvation in Gaza, and he's begging the Red Cross to finally help fix the situation that the Israeli government started.
Resistance.
Daniel, I'm so sorry I didn't mean to do this.
No problem. He was appealing, just because people already heard it, he was appealing to the Red Cross to make sure that the hostages will get food, because the Red Cross are in Gaza.
Food, because they're starving.
And,
Israeli government is starving the hostages.
Please mute.
Sorry, did I do something wrong here?
No, it's about resistance. It's like
He's a notorious, right? Yeah.
I'm notorious for telling him.
It's about
quite the opposite.
Hold on. We all saw the images of Eviatar David, how he's like in the tunnel, the skeleton of the body.
I feel really sorry for that man. I feel sorry that his own country would do that.
Mute up, please. In those underground, in those tunnels for 667 days. Bobby, are you laughing?
No, I was laughing that you told him to mute up, not at what you're saying.
Okay. This a man that was snatched from a party, put underground for 667 days in this tunnel. He didn't see daylight. He is pooping and peeing there. Just imagine the smell. He's eating. He has a calendar of what he was eating. He's getting beans in one day, some beans in the other day, and then 2 days he's getting nothing. He's a skeleton. And they made him also dig his own grave. And when the Hamas fighter was handing him in the video, like you could see the hand of the Hamas because he was giving him something. You can see the arm of the Hamas man. He's well fed. They are deliberately starving the hostages. And the appeal now from the world that is starting to wake up, I hope, or some of them, or people that realize that this is how starvation looks like. This is actually how we have not seen a single starving man or woman in Gaza. Yet they claim starvation. The only person that we see is
either you are crazy or retarded.
I didn't finish, please. The appeal, and I'm landing here just to address what you said. The appeal to the Red Cross, which are in Gaza, as we saw when the hostages were released, they got them from Hamas. They are in touch with Hamas. The appeal is to make sure that the hostages will get their medicine and their food. Please don't exploit it. Resistance. If there's a shred of humanity left in you, go look for the video of Eviatar David. Look at him, watch this video a few times. Try to imagine someone that you care about in this situation, was in a party, and all of that I described right now. And don't use him to continue attacking us. Please, use the... I didn't see it until now, but I would believe that even you can have a bit of humanity. And if not, please don't speak.
Yeah, very hopeful.
Well, no. Well, I have all the humanity. It's you people who lack humanity. So hold on now. Let me speak.
Wait,
First,
hold on. Wait a minute. I just wanted to say to Daniel real quick. When I was laughing, I've talked to Resistance before. I know what he's like. So that's why I laugh when people handle him. That's all it was.
Yeah,
I wanted to kind of clear that up. Go ahead.
I got it.
Ahead,
but once again, I'm the one doing the handling here. But once again, Daniel has given misinformation because, yes, we're seeing the gruesome images of the poor Israeli who is being starved. Absolutely. He is in very bad shape, and I pray for him and his family that he does come home. But unfortunately, this is done because of the Israeli bombardment and their refusal to feed the population of Gaza. This is why that man is starving. And they refused to have let him got released when they had the deal on the table to have all the hostages released. But once again, Bibi Netanyahu and his terrorist thugs in the Israeli government are not allowing aid to come into the floor into the Gaza Strip. I have humanity. I don't want that man to be going through that. But the reality is he's going through it because Israel does not allow aid into Gaza.
Resistance. So how did the aid got to the man that is sitting, the Hamas fighter that is sitting with him in the same tunnel? How did he get food?
Because
Hamas is... And why do I not see anyone else starving in Gaza except for...
Well, I can show you tons of pictures. Hold on. You asked, right? Let me answer. No, I'll show you adults. We'll show you adults that died. They are the same. They look just skeletonized, just like him.
Why did the Hamas man have a full body weight, and the guy next to him was a skeleton of a man eating beans for days in a terror dungeon, digging his own grave? Resistant. Stop making excuses for those.
I'm making excuses. You're not even letting me answer. How am I making excuses?
You are literally saying that if this is a deliberate starvation by Hamas.
By Israel. Okay. By Israel.
Okay.
It is Israel that is starving the population of Gaza and those hostages. Hamas does not have power. Hamas does not have the power to bring in aid into Gaza. They don't.
I'm not interested in you derailing this stage, and I know you.
It's not derailing. I know you just don't like the truth. The fact of the matter is the Israeli government who has starved the population. of Gaza. And this is why food has not gotten into the thing. Now, in terms of Hamas getting food, yes, Hamas has some sort of access to food. And when they bring it in the tunnel, because they're not feeding him. Because they're not feeding him. What do you mean, why? Yes, deliberately. What do you mean?
Because of Israel. They have food.
No, they have food, but they're deliberately not feeding him because of the bombardment. But who argued that wasn't the fact, though?
So what? So it's not because of Israel. They are.
It is because of Israel. Because that man should have been freed a long time ago.
Let me help you. Okay. Imagine Israel did this. Took a man, held him, and showed videos of how he's digging his own grave. That people next to him are well fed, but he is kept as a skeleton. He not allowed to contact anyone in his family. They didn't even know that he was alive until that point. The last time we saw him.
Israel has done that. So the doctor from Shifa Hospital, they abducted him. His family has not seen him in over a year. No one knows what is happening to him. And from the last they heard, he's being tortured. He's being tortured, and he's also skin and bones. Did you not see his pictures?
Show me a picture of him.
No problem. I'll get the picture now. You see, this is what you living in a denial. There is no comparing. They are starving people. Both.
Stop shouting.
Hamas is starving. Hamas is starving the Israeli hostages, and Israel is starving the Gaza population. I deal with reality.
I'm not going to engage. It's
yes, because you're in denial. That hostage should have been freed a long time ago. But because of Bibi Netanyahu who wanted to continue the genocide, the poor Israeli hostage has to suffer because Israel wants to continue killing. He should have been home a year ago.
Listen, I will not let you abuse the I'm sorry, it's too much for me. I'm taking him down.
I don't.
That's what he does. He does that shit every time. He does.
Sorry, what does he do?
Are you insane?
Being an animal, basically. Like, we are humans, and he's acting with no humanity.
No humanity. So, how would you?
Anytime somebody tries to justify starvation, it's just insanity to me. Insanity. That's horrible. Everything you were saying, Danielle. I can't even. I can't even imagine. Like digging your own grave and stuff like that. I was sitting here listening to that, and I can only imagine the nightmare for this person. Like I just can't even believe this shit is still going on in this current time. It's so disgusting.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I was just saying,
It's for all of us. Like when I think of him, it's like you need to understand. We know each hostage name. Okay, we follow them. We listen to their families. We know what's going on. For us, it's not like numbers. By the way, also each soldier that is killed, in the news they say, released to the public, and then they say the name, they will show the photos, they will say how he died. The next day they will show videos from the funeral, what his family said about him. Those are people, and the reason that he was taken is not because of him. He's like a random person that is. They're using him to abuse us.
That's what they do, man.
Releasing those images is psychological warfare, and then people like Resistance and other are not only like exploiting it in an even more sinister ways. This person is not the only, like, he's not the only, like, it's not just him. It's of course his family and his friends that know him. But it's really for each and every one of us. It's like 1,000 like bombs into your like heart every time you see those images of him.
Yeah, Resistance. He he explains that he's Muslim. You know that, right? He follows a Muslim faith. He's a devout Muslim. You do know that, right, Daniel?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I know, of course.
I understand.
Yeah, so he's, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
There was a video I saw of like these kids in Gaza or whatever, like begging for like money. You know what I mean? Because they were being bombed. You could hear bombs in the background and stuff like that. But they literally had gold chains on and gold watches on and stuff like that. And you could literally see the kids in the background moving their air mask around because it was all just scripted. Like there's many proof out there that a lot of these like panic videos for like Gaza and stuff like that are totally scripted. And I think that it's just sad. It's just, I don't know. I just thought it was so funny seeing that this very healthy kid begging for money with a gold watch on. I'm like,
A lot of those videos are faked as well. It's been proven. There's literally a video on YouTube I watched the other day where they literally caught them faking a video. From Gaza, yeah, they've literally. Have you seen that video, Daniel, Bobby?
What's the name again?
I need to find it. It's literally. I sent it to Yahoo Shmari. It is literally a video. Yeah, Shmari Yahoo. I always mess up his name, but they literally like they were caught red-handed because a third party was recording them, faking a video for like. To demonstrate like the poor Palestinians, look what they're going through. Literally faking it, like staging it like actors, like actual actors, and they're like, no, go from this position, turn around, now look like you're really sad, walk like you've got leg problem, faking it.
There's a user on Twitter and I think maybe on Instagram called Gaza Wood. He's basically collecting daily all the videos, and basically each one, it's not always that obvious, but sometimes it is, like before and after photos and stuff like this. It's an industry, and what you can see there, that not only they are faking many videos, but they have access to ambulances and to hospitals and to like communities, and they're working everywhere. And another thing that we see, like for example, she was talking about collecting money. The food and the aid that is going into Gaza for the last almost 2 years is free. Yet they are reporting constantly that they are paying like extreme money, like cost for like flour. And like no one in the world is asking like, why the fuck are the markets full and people are buying it in so expensive prices? We're like, who's getting the money?
Exactly.
Why does it even cost money?
Can I say something real quick? Like, I got into it with somebody here. I'm from Texas, right? And I'm a lot of this is just educational. I'm learning so much from y'all. And
finally it said y'all, and I understand you're from Texas. I was like waiting for the y'all.
Yo, like the one thing is a lot of these like liberals here, they'll say they're pro Gaza, save Palestine and stuff like that, and it's like save them for what? The one thing I don't see them talking about with this fight and what they keep skipping over is the child marriage that is in high discussion there with Palestinian people and stuff like that. Like there's so much child endangerment that goes on there, specifically surrounding around child marriage. They have an issue with that there. But when you bring this up to people that are pro-Palestine and save Gaza and stuff like that, it's like, well, you don't give a fuck about the kids. You don't care. Because there's literally people there that are trying to stop, like, children from being married. Like, what about that? Why don't y'all fight about that? Like, that's an actual cause that needs to be talked about. But they don't want to do that. Israel is starving them and this and that. Man, look at what they're doing. Like, they don't like anyone.
No, I mean, it's even simpler than this. Like, when the war in Ukraine started, the entire world opened their gates and all the women and children left Ukraine. Where's the advocacy? Like, they could say, like, it's war right now, we're like, no child, like, no marriages right now, they are dying. Okay, so why aren't you advocating to let your government, whatever government it is, to let the women and children out of Gaza? Like we do in any other war. Like, why no one is advocating for this? And by saying, like, no, Israel is killing women and children. Okay, so why don't you say, like, get them out? No one is saying it. No government said, like, we open our gates for the women and children of Gaza. Come in, Egypt. Go to Sinai. The women and children, like Sinai is huge. We will open a tent city for you. Whatever. No one is doing anything for the women and children, except using them to pressure Israel to stop the war. Why would we stop the war? We want our hostages back and want Hamas demilitarized. Who disagrees with any of those causes? No one. Not a cause, it's an objective. So what do you want? Not you, yeah?
Using them, like you say, as an excuse. That's exactly what that is. That's why I look at all this and I'm like, they don't give two flying fucks about their own fucking people, and we're gonna fight for an organization that has already been deemed a terrorist group, which is Hamas. They have a major issue with fucking children. They have a major issue with female genitalia mutilation. They have a huge issue with the way they treat women. They have a huge issue with LGBTQ. I mean, like, what is it? Like, I don't understand. Like, I just sit back and I'm like, yeah, I get it. Innocent. I'm all for the innocent people not getting hurt.
You say big issue, they execute LGBT. It's not big issue. They kill them. That's a major issue, not a big issue.
Yeah, we should send in quiz for Palestine. I think that will help the cause.
You know what I want to say to the quiz of Palestine? I believe like in this world that we should use like homeopathy, like go with the flow. Meaning like, yeah, quiz for Palestine. Let's make a fundraiser to do a gay pride in Gaza. Or like with the Palestinian state. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Like, let's recognize the Palestinian state and let's see if this will make a parliament will pop and a government and a judicial system and a constitution and laws and police stations. It doesn't happen like this. Or even with the aid, that Hamas is stealing and there's no. I say, let's flood Gaza with do a mountain of flowers so it will be so cheap that Hamas will not be able to profit from this and there will be enough of the population. Instead of going against it, just do more and let and expose everything.
That's a good question. I'd like to ask, what do you think Greta Thunberg's
Oh my god.
her little ship?
Oh my god.
You know where I'm going, so
I think even that name makes sense.
Okay, well, hold on. I'm just gonna say this, and her just to be on the side of because isn't she what 19, 18? She's like a kid, right? But her heart is in the right place. She's just a kid, She's just trying to fight the good fight, I guess. And I don't wish any harm on Greta. I think that it's just sad that wasn't that all kind of dramatized. They figured out it wasn't really.
Yeah, I
legit.
I think it's very much a media piece.
What do they call it? The Doom Goblin, yeah?
Yeah.
The Doom Goblin. That's just so fucking good. She's fucking stupid. She has no understanding of the conflict. So simplistic, one-sided. She blindly supports the cause. She clearly has never studied. Even Trump makes a good reason, explains this very thoroughly. Whatever you might think of Trump, I mean, you got it absolutely right. Her activism you know, she's just reckless. I don't know what to say about her. She can't be taken seriously. If she wants to be taken seriously, she should like stop using her platform to like spread just basic propaganda, right? That's what she spreads.
Yeah.
She's a fucking idiot. She shouldn't have any. She should not be. She shouldn't be famous. I don't know why she's so famous now. Like nobody should know who the fuck this silly girl is. They should have let her. They shouldn't have stopped her. They shouldn't have stopped her on the way to Gaza. They should have let it continue going.
Instead of
She wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have to worry about her.
But the thing is that if something would happen to her, Israel would be blamed. That is the reality. But it was a cute performance.
Paradox. Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's amazing how she just abandoned her like trademark cause. And you know when the IDF stormed the ships, they said, okay, throw all the electronics to the water, like the computers and the phones. Greta Thunberg threw a cell phone to the ocean for the Palestinian cause.
It's all about the views with her. She's been doing this. She's been doing that for like what? She was like 12, like 11. She's been doing activism work. I think that's why she got so much traction because she was so young, doing activism work. But I mean, she's been proved many times that she is very much producing propaganda. That a lot of the stuff that she says is not. There's no truth.
I mean, this Free Palestine movement became like an identity for many people, like almost a cult, that they would abandon like literally everything if it's like their future, their academic work, their jobs, their like causes. Everything is like abandoned for this cult. It's quite amazing.
I think one of the funniest videos I've ever seen was it was Greta Thunberg standing in the hallway. You guys seen this? So she's waiting for Donald Trump to walk past her, and she's clearly like waiting to be noticed by him, and she kind of obviously expected like a confrontation or like a dramatic moment, and he just strides right by her like she's not even there. I thought it was fucking hilarious. And she looked mortified. Oh man, whenever I get sad, I watch that video. It makes me very happy. He didn't even fucking know who she was.
I'm not sure she knows who she is anymore, to be honest.
Her last name makes me laugh, Thornburg. It sounds like a cartoon character. You know what I mean?
You're a bit too far away from the mic.
Does everyone have some kind of view of September the 13th? The Tommy Robinson.
She's 22, by the way, Bobby. 22, not 19.
I'm sorry.
No, it's alright. I just wanted to clarify for that. Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, September the 13th. Got a video up.
Before you carry on, because it's like 4 a.m., I will say good night and thank you for the conversation.
Good night, Daniel.
Bye, Daniel.
Good night.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I'm very ignorant to a lot of the fight, and stuff. I hate war. I hate it. I'm a part of different LGBTQ groups and stuff, and I've talked to a few Israeli LGBTQ people, and I've always gotten the impression from over there that it's very lovely, very safe, very open. You can be queer there and without having a penalty, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, definitely.
But what I've heard also from like Iranian and Palestinian people is that, you know, they have to keep it secretive. You know what I mean? They're in fear. They don't always talk about it. There is even a user on here that's Muslim and says that he is gay, but he does not dare talk about it in his family. And I'm like, well, why not? Because they're so against it. Well, why would you want to be a part of something that's so against you, that's even a threat to your well-being? So, I mean, but I have talked to, you know, people from over there online, and they are scared. You know, they don't want to be there. They, you know, it's, they have no choice but to comply for right now. And I feel bad for those people. I really do. That's why I get really touchy when it comes to the LGBTQ, because I've been doing talk online for years, but specifically around the LGBTQ, and I've talked to many people and from around the world that are part of it. And it's just sad. And with all of this going on, you know, with all this, you know, I do stand with Israel because they are very welcoming to the LGBTQ. I think that probably
in the Middle East that is pro.
I mean, look at Tel Aviv. I mean, like they're like it's basically like Miami. It's the equivalent of like Miami, because Miami is pretty fucking gay, but I hear Tel Aviv is pretty gay, pretty open. A lot of gays from Israel, they all live around that area. Like it's just really cool, colorful, inviting, vibrant. Like I said, no penalty for being who you are. Trans people exist. Like it's a very nice environment. I do want to go one day. I would love to visit Israel and go to Tel Aviv and do the Pride and stuff like that. That would be great. Maybe meet up with Tobias. Tobias can.
You'd have a great time. I mean, definitely it's one of the best. Yeah, I would definitely. I'd go with her. Yeah, it's one of the best countries. You know, it's for it. I mean, yeah, it's true that some like religious communities, like same with like, you know, obviously Muslims, but also Christian communities. You know, they disagree with homosexuality because of their beliefs, but the country, you know, it supports and protects LGBT rights. There's a lot of gay bars there. There's a lot of gay clubs. A lot of community there. You know, but yeah, the challenge around acceptance often comes from like religion in general, right? It's not just in Israel, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah.
Well, I don't ever.
Yeah, you'd have.
Yeah, thank you. And I do want to go one day. But that's why anytime I've ever had a problem with someone from Israel was usually from the religious stance. You know, it's never the country. Never. I love Israel. You know, I think it's beautiful.
So it's more the denomination.
Exactly. That's where I get passionate, because it is effective to LGBTQ, you know, and I have to stand in there with them because, you know, some LGBTQ people that I've talked to from the area, they're, you know, they have to fight against it too. So yes. I get it. But it's not like the in Gaza and stuff like that. Like they're not pushing people off for being gay. You know, they're just protesting them. We do that. They do that here in America. You know, we have gay pride events, and you'll see Christians and Catholics and all kinds of religious groups protesting, telling us all we're going to go to hell. You know, it was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Yeah,
all of that.
We kind of have a little bit of backlash here, but in the UK, but at the same time, it's nowhere near what possibly you would.
Nowhere near Orlando. Yeah, nowhere near. No, I mean, there is a sort of like thing in the UK, like it's, you know, there is like, I think it's obviously very different now from what it used to be. But so I don't know how old you are, Orlando, but I'm 35.
I'm 39.
Okay, right, yeah. So when we were kids, it was really bad in school. It was terrible, you know. Now I think it's still bad, but like the kids get in a lot of fucking trouble if you call someone like the F word or something, you might get expelled now. It's not the same as what it used to be.
good. That's really good that they took an action on there. The thing about the UK in general is I want to go there so bad. Since I was young, I've always loved the UK, and I understand that there's bad apples everywhere, and I understand that nowhere's perfect. But for me, I just feel like the UK really speaks to me and always has for many years. So I've never been. I want to go so bad. It's definitely on my bucket list. And Orlando, we're the same age. Wow, we're both the same age.
That's great. I mean, there's lots of places around here. Like, I mean, just to go out into nature. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of the cities are they're very, you know, there's a lot of people there, basically. But if you go out into the wilderness, like, you can literally spend, you know, a few hours out there and not see anybody. So yeah, I'd say the Peak District, the Lake District, and maybe the moors, like Exmoor and the Yorkshire moors. They're the ones that I would recommend.
Definitely. The queer people that I've met from or online from over there have just been amazing, first of all. And I want to go because I love fashion, and UK is like a fashion one of the biggest fashion capitals, you know. So I want to go for that, and I just want to go. You know, I want to go to the fashion shows. I want to eat the food. I want to meet the people. A lot of my friends have went, and they loved it. You know,
what's stopping you?
Hey, I see it's a smaller room. Can I just want to look more?
Sorry?
You scared the living shit out of me, Con. I wasn't looking at my phone. Oh my god. Yeah, welcome back, Con. What did you want?
No, I just wanted to say, like,
Hey, Guy, what's up? What's up, man?
Hey, Tobias, you know I'm quite sensible. I just come here, like, I respect Jews. You know, Jews were the original. Sorry, that can sound rude. Jewish people, like the Torah and Moses, David and Aaron. These were like the original people. Abraham, obviously. You say Abraham in Arabic. Yes, like I'm not a Jew hater at all, bro. And I come in these rooms to show you guys, like, Islam is not a hateful religion. It's just Arabs that are hateful. And you guys are gonna have your opinions, but I really hope you guys understand that.
No,
I understand why you feel. Yeah, I can understand why you feel that way. Is the only thing we were pointing out is that if you make a broad statement like that, obviously there's going to be a lot of backlash, and
it will. Well, my parents have been here. My parents left the war in Sudan. I'm an American-born citizen. Amen. And I'm proud of this country. I was born here, but my parents left in like the mid-'80s, so we've been here for a long time. And I was asking my parents, like, you know, how was your experience? Do people really hate you? And they're like brown skin. They're not like super dark, but they're not light. Right. And they were telling me no one ever looked at them funny because they're Muslim. So I'm really convinced that the Muslim hate has nothing to do with like Islam itself. I think it's just Arabs and how Arabs operate. I've never heard like, I don't know, man.
Are you if you don't mind me, are you Persian? Like where are you from?
I'm from Sudan. I'm from Sudan. Yeah, so there's these people that are Arab or conquered by Arabs and raped, but no, I'm Nubian. I'm African.
Okay, I thought maybe you were Persian because I know the Persians hate to be called Arabs and they don't like Arabs at all. So I was wondering.
Well, here's the thing with Islam. You know, some people will say it's an Arab religion. Well, yes and no. It's in Arabic, but again, all these books are from the Middle East. You know what I mean?
Maybe enlighten me. Just quickly enlighten me. What is it? This is why I'm a little bit ignorant. I haven't really looked into it. But why? I have an idea, but I'd like to hear from you. Like, why do Persians hate being called Arabs?
Because the way Arabs operate, they conquer, and they force people into their will. So with Africans, Arabs had certain sciences and certain weaponry. So African people, we never like worship the Arab people, but we seen them as like, how do I say it? They were technologically superior to some Africans. That's very true. Like some Africans were mud huts and shit. Some didn't have like fucking silver-plated swords, and you know what I mean? So we didn't see Arabs as like a direct competition. We seen them as like an ally that brings this book that teaches us Islam. But the Iranians, you gotta understand, they're Persian. So they look Arab, but they're not Arab. And they don't want to get classified as an Arab. So their problem with Arabs is that Arabs want to dominate the Persian field. So it's kind of like better example. You ever see two brothers and they're bickering and backering for daddy's attention? It's kind of like that. Is that a good example?
Yeah, for sure.
They're so similar. Africans and Asians don't have this problem because it's a clear difference in the way we physically look, the way our cultures operate, and our demeanor. But Iranians and Arabs are so similar, they don't like being attributed to one another, if that makes sense. And Iranians are typically Shia, which is a sect of Islam that most people aren't. 98% of us are Sunni. Neither here nor there. I don't hate Jews, bro. I don't hate the state of Israel. But yeah, I just come here to, Arab.
Would you say that you're from Zionist? No?
What'd you say?
I'm just brushing my teeth. Would you say you're like Zionist, like pro-Zionist?
I'm in the middle, bro. It's like, here's the thing. Jewish people need a place to live, okay? So what I think is, I think a two-state solution could work. I don't think Israel, I'm gonna get flack for this. I don't think Israel should only be for the Jews and Palestine should be kicked out. But Jews have a right to live there just as Muslims and Christians do. We all have holy lands there. There's been a lot.
Yeah, so you accept that the Jews have been there for thousands of years.
Well, the Jews were the first people there.
Good, man. Yeah, I agree with you, and that's historical fact. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you must get
Bible, the Quran were after the Torah.
Being Muslim yourself, you must get a lot of backlash for that opinion.
I do. But here's the thing, again, I think it has to do, again, I'm an African, so I think a lot of, I think it's a lot of pan-Arabism, and although I'm a Muslim, I'm not an Arab. So a lot of, these sentiments they hate towards Jews and, these Arab countries and how they want them pure, I don't feel that same sentiment, because the way Africans, fellow Muslims, are treated in these Arab countries is deplorable. So I don't feel an affinity or a loyalty to these people. I'll respect them on the basis of religion, and the good ones I'll communicate with. But I understand in their culture they view me as shit and less than them. You know what I mean? I've never had that with a Jew. No Jew has ever disrespected me or looked at me any kind of way. And if they did, it was like a money thing.
Yeah,
with Jews, it's about money and class. With Arabs, it's about literally if you're black, they hate you.
It's not how Jews behave. Jews are very respectful, intelligent, decent people that will behave in a respectful and decent way. So they wouldn't behave like that. And I'm glad that you recognise that. I think it's a breath of fresh air to hear someone like yourself recognising it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily disagree with you earlier. It's just at the same time there's a protocol in the room. You know what I mean? Where shit can get out of hand real quick.
I know. I'm sorry. I El Normo and me haven't finished. That's what I was gonna tell you, Tobias. Sorry, kinda. I don't know if you're through, but it's nice meeting you. Is that El Normo was on a show? When was it? About a day ago, and I wasn't able to go up. And when I wasn't able to go up, El Normo sat up there and talked 99 miles of shit towards me, and I couldn't defend myself at all. Okay, that was infuriating. And I basically chalked it up there as, oh, I'm gonna get you back, right? So when I saw him up here and I saw all of y'all on there, and I was like, oh, great. And I was quiet at first and waited for my moment to say something. And when I did, it was pertaining to that there can be hateful Jewish people. And I said, yeah, Normal's one of them. And that's when it triggered from there. But I had beef with him even before him talking shit to me the other day. But it has been an ongoing with him. And I was not trying to derail the conversation. I think I kind of kept it on it by calling him out on it as well. But I just got really pissed. You know, he really gets under my skin.
Yeah, I understand that. And I'm sorry if it seemed like I was trying to
no, you don't need to apologize.
Wasn't intending that.
You don't need to apologize. That's what I was saying. I was in my feelings. I was pissed off at him. It was all pertaining to him, not you or anybody, even though it felt like that. And I was being a bit aggressive with everyone. No. It was all because of that asshole, and then when Alpha was chiming in and then calling me a man and it being very rude towards me, then I started attacking him. Then it just felt like everybody wasn't hearing that. It was just like, no, it's Danielle, you need to chill out. Danielle, we're trying to do this. Well, these assholes, these dudes. Like,
see, when you made that clear, I did actually stay quiet. I understood it was like between you and him. Didn't want to interfere anymore.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you. Because it is so frustrating, as you know, it can get so frustrating when you're, and I'm sure you can understand, empathize with this, is that it's frustrating when you're trying to get something out and everybody is just dogpiling on you in that moment.
Oh,
so
yeah,
definitely. You know what I mean? Like it gets so frustrating where it does seem like you're crashing out, but you're not. You're just like, no, because that's all I heard in the comments was, oh, this guy's crashing out. Alpha was, oh, this dude needs help. This dude is crazy. Normo, oh, you're acting crazy.
Echo chamber, literally.
It is. It just became like, and then my own friends up here were like, Danielle, and I'm like, no, hell no. So then I became, Terminator, and I was like, oh fuck no. Let me just do what I do here. But no, I'm just glad that it all got calmed, and I've been waiting to say this to Tobias because Tobias does matter to me. I do welcome him on every.
YouTube, Bobby.
Yeah,
Tobias. I want to say something real quick. Hold on, I wasn't finished my monologue. Tobias, you still here?
Could I ask, Tobias, you have a show?
No, I'm shaving.
Okay.
No.
But you can hear me though. Okay, I'm going to make a statement. Okay?
I'm shaving, man.
As an African Black Muslim, we need to close our borders to Pakistanis, war-torn Afghanis, North Africans. They're going to destroy Western society. Okay? Now, here's a little twist. I think Africans and Asians, when I say Asians, I'm talking about like Malay, Indonesians, like those type of Thai Muslims. I think they're cool. Their cultures are very easygoing. But if we want to keep America great and stop these terroristic acts and the shitification of the West, you have to stop bringing in Arabs and Afghanis and Pakistanis. It's not like an Islam thing, though. It's just these weird cultures, okay? Even in the Middle East, the rich Arab countries that are Muslim and the rich Asian countries, they don't even accept them. Bro, it's deep, man. But we need to close our borders, man. We need to keep America great. And we can't fall like here. We can't allow all these immigrants in to fuck our American culture. Amen.
No, I'm a Trump supporter. Are you a Trump supporter?
Huh?
I heard you say keep America great. Are you a Trump supporter?
No, I'm a supporter of freedom.
Well, okay. Well, this is the thing about immigrants here in America, pertaining specifically around like the Latino, the Mexicans, right?
No, Latinos, Mexicans are amazing.
Okay, I was gonna say when we talk about immigrants here, and specifically America, not over there in Israel, not problem. I'm talking
those
about
are good.
the
No, Mexicans are
Yeah.
good. Those are good. I don't care what anyone says. Those are good immigrants. I'm talking about the Arab, North Africans, Pakistanis, these weirdos. We don't need them in our country.
Yeah,
Indians.
I agree.
Oh, I hate Indians, man. Oh my god.
Oh, well, I don't hate them, but I will say that, I've always, and I hate to, I've said this before, and I feel so bad for saying this, but so when I was little, I would see like Iranian people around or Pakistani people, and they would wear like the cloth around their head, and the men would have like the big beard, and they would wear those robes and stuff, and it would freak me out. Like they always, it would just freak me out.
Okay, listen, bro. Like that's normal. I'm saying again, like I'm trying to make discernment. Islam's not a bad religion. It's just what I'm saying is in Africa and like in Asia where there's Muslims, people forget Muslims are not majority Arab, they're majority African and Asian. They're not like this. They wear beards, they have the woman covered up. It's just these weird like Pakistani, Afghani Arabs. They're just like weird, violent people.
But why keep the women cover up? You know what I mean? Like,
wait, are you into women? First of all, are you gay or straight?
I'm a trans woman. I'm a woman myself.
Okay, do you like cars?
Do I like cars?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all right.
If you had a $3 million Pagani and you're in the hood, would you cover it up with a cloth, or would you just let it sit outside in the element?
Okay, but what is it that women have that needs to be covered?
everything.
Okay, so why can't men be covered just like a woman then, from head
Men
to
are
toe?
covered. It's called. That's why the guys wear the those. It's called your outer.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They don't have to keep their face covered.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. So why do women have to
Hold
be
up.
completely
Hold up.
covered?
Listen, I'm about to educate you. Women don't have to cover their face. Their hijab is from their hair, the bottom. But when they're married, they'll cover their face out of respect. They don't have to though. It's usually the married women that do that.
Yeah, but why are there stipulations with women for that and not men though? That's my point.
There
If
is
there's always hold on, wait a minute, I'm not through. There's not that many stipulations. Like there's not punishment if a man shows his hair. If a woman's hair, I've literally read many reports of women who their hair will accidentally come out of their hijab and they will get beat to death almost. That is not okay, kind.
Okay. Well, you have your opinion, and I told you. The cover, the aura for the woman.
But how is that respectful?
Shut the fuck up.
How is that respectful when you're beating them down? Hold on. How is that?
Okay.
Will you shut the fuck up and explain to me how that's okay?
Right.
You just
Sit
literally.
here behind. That's my faggot.
I don't care. I don't care if I'm a faggot. I'll be a faggot all over your ass. How about that?
Okay, let's
You're just black and ignorant. You're just black and ignorant. You're just black and ignorant is what you are. How about that? You know well. And I'll be a faggot. And I'll be that faggot. And I'll be that faggot. Great. Right? And you're justifying abuse. You're justifying abuse. But you're justifying. I don't care. Muslims don't deserve to live. How about that? There we are. Faggots don't deserve to live and Muslims don't deserve to live. There we are. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you justify abuse of women is what it is. Well, the kind has nothing to say. I'm moving him down to the audience.
Uh-oh, someone's mad.
No, it will say something. Don't be a fucking nasty black-ass idiot. Exactly. Then stay quiet. Stay quiet then. Stay quiet. Speak when you're spoken to. Be a good black.
Is your uncle raping growing up?
Yeah, be a good black man. All right. I don't know. You're the black man. You're the one that has problem raping. You tell me.
Your uncle touched you or something.
Oh. Well, I'm not the one that marries kids, Muslim. Don't you have a problem with marrying children, Muslim? Yeah, that's right. You have nothing to say to that, huh? Because you know it's true. You know that's all y'all do is fuck donkeys and marry children, right? Is that what y'all do, Pine? Is that what y'all do? Oh, yeah, sure.
What did your parents think about you?
Fucking terrorist. Bunch of what you are. Terrorist. Is what you are. Yeah.
He shouldn't tell you to shut the fuck up like that. I don't know why because the conversation was kind of normal, but then he started telling you to shut the fuck up. And then it kind of escalated, you know?
Yeah. Because as soon as I got crazy with him, it's because he called me a faggot. And it's like, so I'm a faggot now because you don't agree with me, because I don't agree with, beating a woman to death because she shows a hair strand. Wow.
Yeah, that's not okay.
I don't agree with female covering at all. I think it's about control, isn't it? It strips the women of their freedom. It's bad, you know? It's bad. It's not about clothing either. It's about enforcing submission. I was going to say to him that, I might agree with him on some things, but I fundamentally disagree with him on others, which is to be expected because he is a Muslim at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. And I did agree with him too, up until this point. And it's like, no. And he goes, hold on. I'm a Muslim. We don't get down like that. Oh, well, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. This is where we disagree. This is where we part ways, kind. Because I've had nothing but nasty interactions with Muslims, online and in person. And he just fucking proved my point here. That every Muslim, they just want to fucking fight. And they hate gay people. They do. They hate them. As soon as they know that someone's gay or trans or something, it's you faggot, you're gonna die, I would kill you, I will do this, I will do that. All those threats he just made to me, I would kill you, you're a faggot, you're still a faggot and this and that. It's like your uncle raped you.
This is the thing.
Yeah, well, don't marry kids.
It's the thing, like, you know, even moderate Muslims. I mean, I think he is a moderate Muslim who support, even those that support Israel. They can still have religious beliefs and doctrines that, I mean, they will have beliefs and doctrines that conflict with core Western values, right? You know, yeah, so I think like supporting Israel or like Western ideas, like it doesn't automatically mean like his religious views are going to align with Western values, especially if you know, if his beliefs align with Islam. It's inevitable, right? There's going to be some things that are just going to conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah, so I knew that was going to happen. Just a question of when. You know, it was kind of inevitable with him.
I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I really was towards the end. I'm like, well, he doesn't sound that bad. Like, he sounds like he's coming in peacefully, and I kind of agreed with him. And then I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, whoa, dude. Wow. But that's the way it is on here. I've been heard by so many people on here. I've tried to be nice to people, even people that have literally been so mean to me, and I've tried to be nice to them, and it's just never.
That must be really hard to like go through, to be quite honest with you.
It is.
How do you feel?
Yeah, Bobby's had a lot of abuse by crazy people. Are they? Yeah, usually it's. Are they normally? Is it normally the Muslims that do that to you, Bobby, or is it different types of people?
It's majority are Muslims, and the majority are Black Muslims as well.
Right.
Like they're just horrible to me. The things that they have said with me, pertaining that I need to be raped or that they're gonna find me. I mean, the threats that I've gotten from them. I've had to report these people. I mean, it gets crazy. I don't get this with Zionists. I don't get this with, you know, Jewish people. I don't get this with people from the UK. I don't get this from people in Africa. It's always Pakistan or Israeli. I mean, not Israeli. I'm sorry, Iran. It's always like Iranian, Pakistani type people, very Muslim. You know what I mean? That do this to me, and I'm like Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Zionists, they and Israel as a state in general, and they stand for the LGBTQ people. You know, they protect them. You know, even with some of the religious dogma, they still protect them. Whereas Islamic doctrines literally criminalize it and prosecute them. You know, it's not just difference in policy; it's a complete rejection of it. You know, and yeah, you know, it's
Well, I'd like to say, Barbie, you know, don't think for one instant that anything they say should matter, because you're a fantastic person. You know, I've been listening to what you've been saying.
Oh, thank
the
you.
Conversation. You're a great person. You know, don't let that affect you in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you, Orlando. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't. I try not to. Sometimes it's not really their words. It's the aggression that gets me, because sometimes like when I get online and I have like an hour's worth of like heavy hitting conversation, and then something happens in my real life where I have to deal with, you know, transphobia or bigotry or something, it's just so heavy on me. And at the end of the day, I'm just so tapped out. You know, so that's why I tap out on these social apps after a while, and I'll give myself like a few weeks, like just a break from it, because I get so just overwhelmed with emotions from everything, and I just, you know, I can only be so strong. So it just, you know, I eventually cave. But yeah, I try not to let it, but it's just more of the aggression that I take. And I'm like, God, why do you hate me so much? Like, it's not really the word, it's the hatred.
Like you
It's-
don't
it's-
even.
it's- they're not hating you. Hating an ideology that they
Exactly
taught.
right. Exactly
I agree.
right, Orlando. Yeah, 100%.
It's not nothing to do with you. It's the preconceptions of what a person might be, and yeah, it's not you. So don't feel offended personally.
Yeah, it teaches you a lot about them and their ignorance and their rigid, intolerant, shitty beliefs that reject basic human rights and your identity. The hate is their problem, it's not yours. Don't even waste energy engaging with people like that. You know, you don't owe them anything. You're never going to join Islam in a million years. Obviously not. You don't have to give them any respect or any explanation. You know, it's their religious dogma. It's an excuse for being bigots. You know, it's just stand firm in who you are. You're stronger than them. Your existence challenges. You know, it challenges them. It challenges them, and that's the way they lash out. You know, that's the way they lash out.
No, that's what Miss Enigma tells me too. She tells me the same thing. She says, "Don't let it get to you. Don't let it bother you," because I do get worked up. I'm like, oh hell no. And I think it's just more of a build-up. It's like a release for me sometimes because I'm things that I can't say in my real life. I get a chance to kind of release it online when I get around these people because these people, this stuff that they tell me, I hear this in my real life. You know, faggot, you're gonna die, da 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 da. So I don't really react like this though in my real life. I kind of just avoid it in my real life. But online, oh no, I go for it. I look for it, and I'm like, I'm gonna use you to release right now. And I think that's where a lot of my aggression comes out is because of just a buildup. But you're right. I shouldn't let it get to me, and I should move past it faster and take more breaths in those moments, but it just gets so frustrating. The same, going back to El Normo, like I want to like him, I do, I want to like him, but he is just so bigoted towards me, and I agree with some of the shit that he says, but some of the stuff that he says towards me and to other people, like I'm like, I don't agree with it, and he can be rude. So I just kind of give him back a taste of his own medicine. But yeah, I just wish we could all just get along at the end of the day.
I'm make it clear with Daniel. Daniel is I don't know how well you know Daniel, but he's honestly, I'm being totally honest with you, he's really fucking good. He's probably the best when it comes to like debating this stuff. I don't think anybody would deny that. He's like the leader in terms of like arguing this stuff. I don't think. He's weird, man. I'm telling you, he's serious shit. So I don't think he meant to like upset you earlier. Maybe you'll disagree with me, but I don't know. I don't think he's like that. I don't think he's like that. I think he's much more genuine. And he said something like he's actually part of the gay community, so he might even be gay himself. I don't know. That's it. He said that, so it made me wonder.
Yeah, that's what I heard him say that.
I think he might. I think he was implying that he might actually be gay himself.
Yeah, and no, I think that I think over the conversation and time with us, I think we kind of had a better understanding of each other, especially when he kind of understood where I was coming from. But I like Daniel, and I liked him. But this was my first time interacting with him. I've heard him before in different shows, and I always think he's really funny.
He's so well.
Yeah, he's very. I love his debate style, but I think he's funny when he gets angry with these people because he's like, mute up, shut up. I'm like, I just laugh at the way he handles those people that try to talk over him. That's why I laugh at things that he said. It wasn't really laughing at what he was saying. It's just the way he handles them. I just think it's so funny. But because I'm like him with a lot of ways, I relate. So, but no, I think Daniel's very awesome, and no qualms. That's why I haven't really brought him up. He was pretty calm. He was pretty calm with me. He handled me
respectfully,
very nicely. Yeah, he did. He didn't yell at me. He wasn't nasty towards me. He just kind of was just telling me, and then went on mute. So no problem with Daniel, but it was definitely all Normo, all Alpha, and who else was it? And that's pretty much it. Now Kind, Alpha, and Normo were the biggest.
I'm just gonna say goodbye because I'm off.
Orlando, yeah.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, it is. It is getting late too, and I'm sure you're ready for this, right?
Yeah, let's probably just close the room, guys. And I know John didn't get a chance to come up and speak, but thanks for listening. Hope you, I'll see you all of you guys later. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye. Good
Speak
night,
to you all.
guys.
It's been very nice.
Good night, everybody.
Make sure you keep that bill up there around 20, 30 grand. They'll keep you around. You pay that bill off and you're good as dead.
You see the doc say, the check cleared. So well, go ahead and stick him over in that corner. You only got a couple hours to live anyway, Chad. We're gonna go ahead and cut the respirator off.
Yeah, it works that way sometimes. People let you stay in their life as long as you got what they need or want. And if you stop having it, well, they stop needing you. Hence, never help someone feel full. Just let them feel satisfied, but not full.
Oh, you're talking about the carrot method, dangling the carrot, huh?
No, not dangling it. Just never let them eat it. Let them taste it.
Oh, that's correct.
People will stop chasing something if they don't get a little taste of it every now and again. It's like somebody wanting freedom. Let them go on vacation once a year. You know, if you work in my company, I'll let you go on a vacation once a year, fully paid. So you can know what freedom feels like. It'll make you work harder. You'll want more than a week, but you'll never reach it. But because I let you feel a week worth of vacation, you'll keep thinking that one day your life can be a vacation. That's why companies give you vacations, so you'll work harder. But if they didn't give you any vacations, you wouldn't work as hard. Productivity. You know, in Japan, they let you take naps at work. Midday. Scheduled naps.
That's a fact.
So you don't have to worry about the boss catching you sleeping. Because they found that a little hour or 2 hour nap at work revitalizes the person. And the productivity actually goes up. Because throughout the day, it goes down. Because they're draining from that original battery. But just like a cell phone, if you charge it up in the middle of the day, you'll have more power all the way to the end. You let a person at work charge up in the middle of their shift, then they actually are able to finish their shift with the same energy that they started their shift. You know, let's see, in the United States, they do not care about productivity. In the United States, people care about power. And they rather have control than productivity. Because control is more valuable than product. People prefer to control other people's actions, regardless if those actions are producing anything. There's a woman out there that's controlling a man, not producing anything for their relationship, but she likes the way the control feels. She'll destroy her relationship, but she'll build up her sense of power. It's a man doing the same thing. Hence, their words does not match their energy. You know how people say actions speak louder than words? They do. But energy speaks before action. Like, I don't even need to see your actions. I see your energy. You're talking to me like a powerful woman. I'm like, you know, I wouldn't have, you got the energy of a powerful woman. Why would I ever think I can feel with someone that's powerful? Powerful people are looking for control. So you're not open. So I don't need to wait for you to do an action. Your energy is already showing that your pursuits are controlled. Nobody can have a functional relationship in a controlling environment. Not a relationship, that's a part. I also was a controlling person and you were a controlling person. Maybe we can partner up. But you have to be looking for a partnership to do that. So it's the energy of the thing. So I'm going to tell you that I know something about God. And you're going to see me talking about power. I'm like, depending on what God. You know, if I was talking about a God that was balanced, then I wouldn't be talking about power. If I was trying to be special, I don't know a God in existence that ever tried to be special. Even in polytheism, none of the gods, when there were many, ever tried to be special. You worship the God that represented the thing that you went. You were trying to have a baby, worship the God of fertility. You wanted the crop to grow, worship the God of sunlight and water. You didn't want to die, worship the God of healing. It was time to fight, worship the God of war. On and on and on and on. And so, I can't see myself telling you that I'm a true servant of the God of war. And all I talk about is peace and nonviolence. That would be, I don't know, I'd ready to get some of you, but I don't believe I'd ready to trick you that long. My words won't even match the God I'm serving. Hold on now. Peace and nonviolence. That don't sound like war. So, you hear somebody talking about some omnipotent, all-powerful, all-knowing God, and then they start talking about definitions. How can omnipotence be defined? That wouldn't make any sense. Like the word God means above sense. Something that always is and always was. Like, where'd it come from? I came from everywhere. Where did everywhere come from? Where it came from? It was always been here. That makes no sense. So when someone tries to make sense out of the word God, and I'm like, that's what really doesn't make sense. Unless you're trying to own God and turn him into what you want him to be. That's why you gotta say it real loud. You gotta go to a Baptist church and say it real loud and yell it into your ears. Like, there's a lot of people think the louder they say something, that makes it truer. Like, oh, well, you are out yelling me, so you have to have a point. Then people start resonating with the loudness, like, Oh, they're saying it with so much loudness. That's conviction. You sure that's conviction? Yeah. What does conviction sound like? Well, you got to say it real loud, and that means it's true. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Hence, the energy isn't matching the words.
Gee, that's funny.
It's called being in the spirit.
So I'm just posing that actions do speak louder than words. I told myself I know what I'm doing with that rose bush out there. I cut all the dead roses off of it. Never claimed to be the greatest horticulturist in the world. I didn't watch the whole YouTube video on pruning, but roses grew more and our rose bush got taller. So I mean, I guessed my way through it, but I didn't do too bad. You know, sure I can do better. But I'm not gonna tell people, man, I did all right with pruning my rose bush. No, I took the action. But I had to wait to see what happened to my rose bush before I said I did pretty good. I could have went outside and that joint was dying. I was like, oh man, it's all brown now. I think I killed it. You know, I cut the wrong thing. So I'm posing. Actions speak louder than words, but sometimes you have to let actions play themselves out. You know, to see if somebody was telling you the truth or see if you were telling yourself the truth. Sometimes you gotta let certain things play out because you're still allowing the actions to dictate whether or not, or the results to dictate whether or not it was what it was, or what this was this person or myself being as true to myself or as real with myself as possible. But you can actually get ahead of that. Energy speaks before action. You know, so if you get better at seeing the energy of a thing, you won't get so caught up in the words because there are people out there that are so gifted with speech. They can, I swear they can sell boots to a snake. And all they need is a second of your time. They can be witty, they can be charming, they can be confident, and that can resonate with you. But the words are going to be false, but the energy is going to be this, and you need to be able to see when they're not matching. So you may or may not be able to ever see that. You may or may not, but it may be some minister or preacher or family member or a lover or a friend that's going to always have you under that puppeteering until they mess up one day, which is most likely inevitable. And then you'll see through it, you'll break through it or whatever. But when it's you doing it to you, if you can go a lifetime fooling yourself, you'll never see through the lie that you tell yourself. You've been telling yourself you're somebody you're not, but you say it so much to yourself, you're starting to believe. You're say you're looking for love, you are not. You are looking for company. You are looking for power. You are looking for status. You are looking for a lot of things, but love ain't it. It's kind of like what you're looking for. You would like for love to be there with it, but that's not what you're like. You're looking for somebody to worship you, but you would like if they loved you too. You know. So you're not looking for God. You're looking for excuses. You're just hoping that you can find a God that can excuse the way you act. So you're trying to convince yourself that you're looking for God. I'm like, you look at your energy. Like, look at what's causing you to look for God. And then ask yourself, are you really looking for God if that's the reason why you're looking for him? You don't want to die? You think that's a good enough reason to look for God so you won't die? You want to feel better about yourself? You think that's a really good reason to look for God? The reason why you're looking for him is the energy behind it. So your words don't really mean much. At least that's what I see.
Thanks for coming through my room earlier. So, said a lot. Well, the title of the room was Why Was God Invented? One thing I did get from everyone's response, apart from yours, of course, because you called out the bullshit, but majority of the response was explaining why God was invented without actually realizing. They were admitting that God was invented. But you did say something which you said before, anyone who goes looking for God is a fool or a coward. You don't go looking for what you know, right? When you have a relationship, you don't have to go looking for someone you're connected to. And if anything, my quest or my questioning of what I've been taught is evident of what I don't have. And it's not even about control, it's more about understanding and perhaps to validate the void. And what I mean by that, when I was in my early 20s, a very close friend of mine got the Holy Spirit, and she was rolling down the floor and she was crying and it was wild. I was like, God must find you very special to give you that gift. Why not me? Where's the disconnect? What am I not doing right? So I started to, get more into the Bible. I attended the services, and I think it wasn't even just the idea of the Holy Spirit, it was the fact that she was touched. It was a connection that it seemed not everybody could have, but it was her own experience. And I convinced myself that maybe I'm just not Christian enough, I'm not holy enough, it wasn't, it wasn't all this performance. It had nothing to do with that, because outside of church, she was breaking every rule. She had 3 boyfriends, and I'm not saying I'm judging her, who am I? But she was nothing Christian. She wasn't playing by the rules at all. But she had that special experience that I felt was missing in my life. And I realized, people experience God in many ways. But I don't know, that plus many other factors triggered my own curiosity. I'm searching for the truth behind the why in my life, and my whys are many, so I'll probably have more rooms like that, unfortunately. But the Christians always prove right by the room title because they argued for the fact that God was invented. They proved that God wasn't real. They proved that their belief was, that they believed in what they were taught to believe, but they agreed without really saying it out loud that this is why God was invented.
Just sounds like you gotta grow up one day, she. That's all. Adult you brain works much better than kid version. You keep turning into a kid when you're thinking instead of growing up. Think about the words you were saying. You were saying young girl, Holy Spirit. Then you were saying, you said somebody didn't go by the doctrine of Christianity, but seemed to be touched by God. You know how silly that sounds. If there was a God, do you think just because you weren't in your building, it wouldn't see you? So if it saw her, and it wasn't, she wasn't a, let's say, devout follower. I don't know any God from polytheism to monotheism that interacts with a pretender. You know, that's the whole gimmick of every God, that you have to really be devout for it to give you cool powers. All the gods, every God in existence rewards its most devout servants. So if this one wasn't devout, I doubt you would have to be the one that sees that. So maybe just like she was pretending when she's outside of the church, most likely she was pretending inside the church. So maybe she learned how to act like she got this holy thing that you were talking about. Trust me, if you can act like you love someone, you can act like you're possessed. I get people act like they're having seizures all the time. If I'm around Christians, no, Catholics, she's possessed. Like I said, all you have to do is think.
I do separate religion from spirituality. And belief in a person having a spiritual experience. It doesn't
You gotta think.
Yeah. It's a great area. Still a lot of growth.
Aren't you? It sounds like you're attached to that. You gotta step out of it.
For the most part, anything that you're not thinking in, then you're lost in. Imagine if there's a such thing as infinity. You could think about it, but you couldn't contain it, hence the concept of infinity. Imagine if there was a such thing as a God. You could think about it, but the word itself implies that you can't contain it. Imagine if there was an ocean. I challenge anyone to go out to the ocean and swallow as much of it as they can. And when they get out of the ocean, I can almost guarantee you that the ocean will still be there. Because I'm pretty sure none of you can swallow the ocean. So it's the same concept. You can't outthink or outswallow the ocean, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to swallow some of it. Being spiritual doesn't mean being brain dead. That's what most atheists get on theists about. They call it blind faith, which I find it very hypocritical because they have blind science, each group victims of the same stupidity. One thinks too much and the other one thinks too little. Same blind spot. Both people claim that they know something. They know nothing. don't know the totality of a thing, but you don't need to know the totality of a thing. I have this very nice Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra Max. I like the big one. I do not know how to work all the features on this phone. I still have an activated voice thing where I can talk to it. Or your voicemail. There you go. Get on that part. No, I haven't. But see, I don't even know how to operate the totality of this phone, but I know how to get on Clubhouse. You don't need to know the totality of God. You just need to know the part that you need to know. While everyone else is trying to know the totality of the universe, you don't need to know the totality of the universe. You just need to know the part that you need to know. You take care of this planet, and then maybe you can start talking about taking care of the universe. You take care of your relationship with your God, then maybe you can start talking about other people's. You know, you ever seen somebody try to tell you how to take care of your kids, and their kids is over there sick and nasty? Hey, why don't you go put your kids in the tub? I can put mine in the tub. So it's sometimes people will pay more attention to other people's problems because it keeps their mind off their own. And sometimes people want people to believe in what they believe in because then it makes it seem more believable. And it's the way I would look.
It's a blind spot. I'm working on it. And you're right. I don't need to know everything. That's what I need to know.
I had a somewhat of a relationship with my sister and my brothers and my parents. I don't need to know my mom the way my dad knows. And I don't need to know my mom the way my uncle knows. I just need to know my mom the way a son knows a mom. You know, not saying she can't be known a whole bunch of ways, but some of her ways are in all of her ways. If she's a patient woman, it's different than her being a patient parent. I've seen patient parents, real patient with their kids, and they come to work and they are short fuses. I think them kids can wear out all their patience. But then I actually meet patient people sometimes. Patient with the kids, patient with the siblings, patient with the parents, patient with the patients. They're just patient people.
So with your example, you have a relationship with your mom. You don't have a third person standing in between you and her and say, your mom says make sure you wake up at 5. Now you hear it directly from your mom.
Sometimes my brothers and sisters will call me and tell me, Mom wants you to do this. But then I know who I'm talking to. They'll put a little extra edge in there. I know Mom didn't say all that. You kind of threw that. Because Mom says she needs you to do this because you never coming around when people be calling and I'm like, hold on. Part of that sounded like Mom. A little bit that sounded like you. You know, you just slid that in there. That's because I also knew who I'm talking to. So even if there was a third person in there, I'll know how to disseminate between the part that the third person kind of slid in there and the part that was possibly her message.
I know you always say, Zero, imagine there was a God. But I feel like, and it's going to sound really weird, and I don't know. there are some people that speak as though they've spoken to God, or God sends a message to me through them, and I'm like, why doesn't God want to speak to me? Or there are interpretations that, yeah, maybe I may not have it all in one go, but the Bible is the word of God. Why doesn't God speak to me? It's always this curiosity. So I was like, let's remove the middleman and let.
That don't make any sense.
Why God doesn't want to speak to me? So,
No, because you say words like want. If you were talking about a God, there's no concept called want. It's need. Hell, I have a battalion chief, a division chief, a lieutenant and a captain. So, hell, by the time somebody speaks to me, it's something somebody 3 ranks above me wanted me to do. But they got to go through chain of command. So by the time it's told to me, I know where the order came from. I'm concerned why somebody 3 ranks above me didn't come speak to me. I'm not silly enough to think that I'm supposed to be up there talking to the high-ranked people. So unless you think you're equal to God, I don't know why you would think he needs to talk directly to you.
you're right. I'm just a piece of sand on a beach amongst many. I'm not that significant.
You never have been, and you never will be. Anyone who values himself is either a fool or a coward. And God doesn't talk to fools and cowards. Not any gods that I know of.
Okay, so that was man, I hope you caught that sheet.
Oh, I got it.
She don't have it.
I got it, Jojo.
That's crazy. It was a delay. It slowly registered.
No, because you want to know something? It's going to be 2 weeks from now. We're going to find she bringing this shit up again.
No, I might just have another inkling of another question that I've never got the answers to, and I just like.
It's the same question.
Yeah, little face.
I don't know. It's the same. It's like the last several years I've been coming. She come on like every time. Like Amunet got her own thing, but she got a thing too. And she's thing is like there are men who have used the Bible to control our lives. And every time she do that, I be thinking, damn, when was the last time somebody used the Bible to control us?
She believes that.
It's like, are you still falling for that kind of, you know what I'm saying, that kind of stuff? You could read the Bible and enjoy it yourself. You don't have to keep talking about how other people are using.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I can just forget that there is hellfire after we die. Just live my life.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's something about that rumor that there's a worser or a better place for y'all black people to go is what really got it stirred up. Like, it's such a confusion about how to live this life now. To where I got a grandmother who will never wear pants because she's trying to get in the good club after, the afterlife club. And I'm like, girl, you got a silly God.
Yeah, that dress code though, that ain't have nothing to do with God. I actually grew up in a church that was like that. That we didn't wear pants and stuff like that. And the Bible don't even say that. It's not even in the Bible. But they have taken the word and kind of indoctrinated in that way that you're not supposed to wear pants. I grew up in a church where they was telling us that we're not supposed
and then they later on corrected it because of I don't know who talked to our pastor, but he ended up correcting it. But then when I read the scripture, I was like, it ain't got nothing to do with it. It ain't say nothing about no pants. So it's like I grew up like that too. But now I wear them whenever I want to. But because I'm so used to like 20 some years of wearing dresses, I feel more comfortable in them. But it's not about going to hell or heaven.
So, Zero, to your point, the pastor is closer to God than I am. I'm at the lower ranking, you know.
See what I'm saying? I told y'all she don't get it.
Jojo.
No, you're right. If there's a pastor, he's closer to God than you. It's just like if anyone who has an older brother or older sister, especially if you got some years in between you, like let's say 10 years in between. When you're 10 years old, they're 20. You know. So they know your parents better than you do. Maybe when they were born, your parents were just starting off in their career. He's 20 now, so their parents should have been spent 20 years, most likely went up the food chain, maybe making more money, maybe even evolved, maybe aren't as wild as they were at first. Imagine if your parents were 25 and they had you. 20 years later, that's 35, now 45. Maybe they matured a lot, so maybe your 20-year-old brother saw your parents go through a certain degree of maturity and financial growth. You're 10. He's witnessed that growth. You came in the middle. So they know more. Maybe listen to your older brother when he tells you about mom and dad and da-da-da-da-da. So if there's a pastor, he knows more. That doesn't mean that your 20-year-old brother is worth more to your parents than the 10-year-old you. It's not about who's worth more, it's just who knows more. So listen to your pastor. He's had a relationship with your God longer than you have.
So why won't you read the Bible with us, Jerome?
The same reason why you won't. The same reason why you won't read the Bible.
Does not need to be explained to you.
Q stay pissing me off, y'all.
What's the solution?
Don't piss
What the hell?
I'm sorry.
Zero, why won't you do like one verse per day? A scripture.
Zero's parables need to be studied. I'm not even over that. I cannot confuse myself any further.
That's what I'm saying, y'all.
We got a closet full of Bibles over there, and I want to know why Zero won't read them to us.
She and Q got a problem, y'all.
Is it a God complex?
Well,
I just
I can't read the Bible, Q, no more than I can read the Kabbalah or the Torah or the Quran, because I already know them. It's like a map, right? Imagine if I took a map and it was guiding me towards a treasure. That map was one of the most valuable maps in the world to me. But then I used one map and it took me to a puzzle piece. It was like, this is what the Quran leads you to, this piece. And then I read another book, the Torah, and I said, oh, it led me to this piece. Then I read all the Vedas and the Tao Te Ching, and they each led me to a piece. And then I read the Christian Bible, it led me to a piece. But once I put all the pieces together, it showed me a brand new picture. A picture that you can only see after you collected all the pieces. So, to me, I don't value the maps anymore because I've already found what they lead to. So,
right. Then I understand. I'm saying
I'm just
it's
posing
like, but you won't
that
read them
you
to us.
You can't, because you cannot understand any religious text with, what was that word that one person, you can't read religious text with the carnal mind. People pay attention to the words instead of the spirit in the words. You know, it's kind of like somebody who claims that oral traditions, when teachings were passed down orally for hundreds and sometimes thousands of years in some cultures, they say some things were lost in the oral tradition because somebody somewhere surely didn't place a word somewhere somehow. Somebody eavesdropped and heard it and misheard something. Well, someone may have translated something from Greek to Aramaic, from Aramaic to Latin, Latin to Hebrew, and then translate that to English. Sometimes some people claim that some scriptures, even in the Christian Bible, may have mistranslations. They're like, you're so silly. You can't mistranslate a spiritual book. It's impossible. You're still paying attention to the words on those pieces of paper. It's like it's a spirit behind the word that can't be mistranslated. So I don't care what they did with the words or what language is in. The language of the spirit can't be mistranslated. So people are fascinated with the wrong things.
Man, I'm so happy that somebody knows that. That's amazing. I'm glad you said that, Zero.
Hey, but I believe them because it's always something. You can go to two different churches and have them both, two pastors can preach the same thing and you will get different messages from it. One pastor may yell it into your spirit, the other may speak it calmly, but one of them is going to resonate with, let's say, that thing called the soul with you more than the other, I think. But what I'm saying to you, Zero, is that your words come off so sharply to the point to where you could break down something that a lot of us have been misunderstanding.
Did you look up that word I told you about yesterday?
I forgot. You never.
So I looked it up. That was wild shit, Jojo.
You're not incorrect. You're not. Don't pay attention to JoJo. You're not incorrect about that. I could. There is no teaching from any religious text that I could bring clarity to. But that's the point. If let's say someone read some story, give you a popular. I heard a Christian once say that Adam and Eve had children. One of them was named Cain and the other one was named Abel. And they said that a happening happened. A first killing, the first murder. Definitely wasn't the first killing. It was just the first murder. So, what's the difference between a killing and a murder? It's the justification of it. If it was justified, it was a killing. If it was not justified, it was a murder. That's goes back as far as time can go. But there was a penalty. One of the brothers was penalized and told that he had to go somewhere else. So he went somewhere else. Everything was fine. But there was some confusion of possibly being harmed by some other people. And they act like that's a big mystery. Why do you think that that's a mystery to people who claim that they've read that book?
I don't know, Zero. Clearly, you just said people don't understand the word. They're not. Their spirits are not aligned up with it. So why don't you tell me why, Zero? That's why I'm asking you.
Well. This is the catch. This is the catch. It's like, let's call the pastor the third will. But the problem with the situation is that I have, it shifts into a dictatorship, which means if these pieces are a map, and like Zero was saying, if we take the approach of believing the pieces are a map, but as opposed to me reading the map, somebody else explains the map to me the way they want me to get it, but instead of explaining it to me as if it's a map, they explain it to me as if this one piece is the whole map. But then in the process, they lock me into the map instead of teaching me and letting me learn that this is just a map for me to reach a destination where I no longer need the map. That's what religion does.
I think there is something in what I be hearing about this idea of having someone use some type of literature or a sacred book as the end all. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people in Zero's position where they refuse to glorify a specific text. Like, you'll hear Zero pick stories from all the books that may be significant to the conversation, but he tries not to idolize the books, I believe, because if we get there, then it's one of those things that he is kind of, once again, pointing people in a direction where it's like, okay, this book holds some truth, but then people will take it as this book holds the truth. And then at some point, they may incriminate Zero for saying, hey, you said this book was the truth. And now I'm out here, speculating and sounding a fool and listening to these other fools who speculate stuff about this book. And I think there is something to it where it's like, if you read all the books, you'll find like everybody's coming with a similar conversation from their part of the world, you know? And I don't want to put this. I think it's one of those things that if you are a person who's alive today, there is an opportunity where you can just gain the same senses of truth, um, by just really paying attention and being aware in everyday life. I think there is something where when you try to use these books and the languaging they use, sometimes it feels a little too definitive and it kind of locks people in ideas more so than the truth too. Because like, if you are reading these books from an immature place, especially spiritually, you will find that your point of view from your place of evolution and where you're reading the book, you're going to make sense of it from that level. Like how a child can make sense of the story of Cain and Abel, and an adult making a sense of the story of Cain and Abel. It's going to be two totally different things. And whereas someone who is very spiritually sound versus someone who's just like, a random person in the world, they're going to perceive that story as two different things. So I do think there's somewhere in the conversation where it's like not trying to use these type of books to leverage people in a way where you're saying like, oh, this is the truth and I'm the one who can decipher it. Because that's really what people want. They want somebody to say, hey, I need you to read this book for me. Give me the cheat codes so I can just play the game. And it's really just not that easy. Like, it really puts you at a place of just deep manipulation. Because this is one thing I used to say for sure. It's like, if there is a heaven or a hell, am I really gonna place my bets on you to tell me how to get there? Like, am I really gonna bet on you? I might as well bet on myself. Listen to how half the people be talking. That's all I'm saying. I might as well read the books and bet on them.
So basically, Jojo, read the Bible myself and just come on Clubhouse every day and ask Zero a random question. So Zero, does this
Look
mean
up
that
the word that I presented to you.
I ain't looking up shit. You can go to hell.
It works out better that way. It would.
Going to hell?
No, it works out better to read it for yourself and make the sense out of it that you've made out of it.
And it's like, damn it, Zero said you gotta read it and read it through the spirit.
And so it'll reveal to you whatever it reveals to you. And if you want to share that with me, I'll say, is that what you got from that story? Because let's just say different stories got different layers to it. You know, every time people talk about Christians, they talk about Abrahamic faiths. Is everyone, whether you're Muslim or you're Catholic or you're what people call Christian now, they all believe in the character of Abraham. I knew that story, but it was when I heard it. When I heard it, it was read to me by my dad. That's the first time I heard it, which is different than the first time I read it. I heard the story before I read the story. First time I read it, I was at a different point in life. One point, I was reading the story and I was thinking, man, pretty cool to talk to God. I thought the whole story is about how cool it was to talk to God, how to be a disciplined servant. But I was constantly thinking about just this so-called God talking to a human. It always seemed interesting. And so my dad used to read it to me. Of course, my dad's voice was God's voice, the way he used to read, and then he'll imitate the other character's voice and so forth and so on. He was a character like that. And but when I read it as a man, I didn't read it like this person who wanted to hear God. I was reading it like, man, Abraham must have been going through some real internal struggles or something. ... And I thought it was really cool that in the story that the God didn't stop the father from stabbing the son. It was he sent another agent to do the stopping instead of himself. Then, when I got older, I said, screw Abraham and screw this God and screw that other agent. I gotta look at the person who carried the whole story, the one who spoke the least. It was the one they called Isaac. He didn't have the biggest role, but he had the most important part. It's like, hey, go there and lay down on that table right there. Be right with you. No restraints, no nothing. A willing sacrifice. I don't know which one's more difficult, to be a father and stab your own son, or to be a son and lay still and let him do it. So I read it from the angle of the son, I read it from the angle of the father, I read it from the angle of the faith. But each angle showed me a different aspect of that theology. Throughout that theology, it always shows things in a very Trinitarian type way. Most of his stories typically have three characters. It'd be one story, but it's typically three characters. Even with the Jesus at the end, his execution, once again, three characters. It's very common in Christian theology. Completely opposite when I was reading different Vedas. There was many characters in one. Taught me something else. So, just saying, you can read the story and get something out of it, but I guarantee you can probably read. It's like watching a movie multiple times. You'll see something you didn't see the last time. What happens is people will watch the movie in their 20s and still be talking about it in their 40s, and they haven't rewatched it. Somebody will have some amazing spiritual experience in their 25, and they'll be 45, still using that singular spiritual moment as a definition of their spirituality. Like, what? That's like me having sex one time, and then me judging sex off of how it was when I lost my virginity. You know, that's just what people do it.
Not gonna be the same.
I'll land there.
Yeah, that's not gonna be the same. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I always thought of the Bible as the living word. Like anytime you read it, you can always get something different each time you read it. So
which
I always call it. I always say that is.
So which Bible should I buy, Zero?
Wait a minute, Q. Jeez. Goodness. I was just gonna say this, damn. I know you ain't. You know what? I don't rush you when you're speaking. Don't do that.
Well, he
But no, I was just
spoken as much as you, I believe.
no. Actually, I've been sitting here for a very long time. I'm speaking clarity. I think that's you.
This is not clarity. This is the solution.
Your voice is the same as clarity's.
Well, that brother must have a beautiful voice then.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Get me the hell out of here.
No, so that's crazy. No. So I know I've always thought the Bible as the living word and in God's thoughts or whatever. So that's all I was gonna say. Go ahead, Q, since you're so anxious.
Thank you. Zero.
God
damn it, she.
Sorry, Q. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna need you to take a chill pill.
Go ahead, Q, because I want to see how this guy clarity sounds.
Zero. Which Bible should we purchase? Which Bible should I get? King James.
It's the most common. It really wouldn't matter, but that's a fair fit.
Why didn't God write his own Bible?
Well, what I wanted to give you was if you was listening to what Zero said, he was reiterating on a conversation we had a while back about the introduction. People are running with the introduction and not growing outside of the introduction. And he basically just gave you a recap on a conversation we previously had about that. Do you remember that conversation, Zero? Why would you forget? My fault.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's the King James Version, any version of the Bible. There are some that have more. Let's say all of a sudden a Hebrew Israelite decided to rewrite the Bible, and every time it would have said the man, he changed it to the black man. And every time it says a woman, he put in that bitch. Well, that may be a mistranslation, but if they kept the general story in there and you start reading it with the Spirit, you will still get the story. It's just that some mistranslations make it more difficult to get the spirit of the story. It's no different than if I went to a mosque, and at this one in particular mosque, all of these very curvy women wore these extremely tight hijabs or hijabs, and all I can see is their figures and these beautiful, mesmerizing eyes, and they were just all over the place. Then it'll be kind of very difficult for me to stay focused on what's being said. I mean, I could, but it'll be more challenging. So some Bibles, their translation, their literal translation, makes it more challenging, but it doesn't make it impossible to pull the spirit of the book out of the words. But I would say definitely the King James Version is one of the easiest ones that has very few words that should cause you to not receive the spirit of the book if you're open to the spirit of the book. And see, that's the thing about anyone who's looking for anything. This just doesn't have anything to do with God. You don't understand. You failed in life because you're a fool. You make things important, and then you look for those things like they are important, but you're the one who made them important. It's like a person that's depressed because they haven't made a certain amount of money, but you're the one that made money important. Because you think, oh, if I don't get money, then I'll never be able to have the type of relationship that I want. And if the type of relationship you want has to have money in it, I'm not too sure that you should make that an important relationship. Because next thing you know, you're going to end up having people with no money with bad relationships. But then all of a sudden, that'll mean that people with a lot of money have good relationships. But if you've ever looked around and seen someone with a lot of money with a bad relationship, you should understand that it's not the money. If more money meant better relationships, trust me, it does not. But if it did, you wouldn't see people with money with bad relationships. Just like being healthy, physically healthy, doesn't mean I'm going to be happy. If it did, trust me, it wouldn't be these guys in the gym and these women with these bodies that's banging out of this world, but they're always upset or crying or searching for thrills. So trust, a healthy body and a healthy bank account does not make a person. But if you're thinking that it does, will break a person. It'll break you thinking that that makes you. But if that's your pursuit, go and get the banking body and go get the fat bank account. And I'll see you when you're 50. Tell me how it worked out. I pretty much know how it's going to work out.
Well, Zero, sounds to me like some of these guys are almost already 50. You would have to question now.
Doesn't matter. Everybody that plays this game ends up in the same space.
Hey, Zero, can I jump in on what you said earlier? Do you mind?
Hey, welcome.
Well, the thing you said about reading the Bible in three different perspectives made me look at people's attention, even mine. You know how when we're younger, when we're babies or like children, we look at the world differently than when we look at it now. Having bills and responsibilities. As a kid, you don't get those things. Well, hopefully you don't. Some kids do, but hopefully you don't. And then you get to focus on the things you want, your desires. But as a child, and you hit adolescence, starting to understand that you get desires that you can't even, like your parents can't even fulfill for you. So you got to go fulfill them for yourself. Like I would call these paradigm shifts. And I understand what you mean when people only remember first instance of something and not go in deeper. It's like when you learn about the Constitution, the American Constitution, in school. But when you get older, you never go back and read it. Why is it? It's because you don't care about what's in it. You think you know everything you need to know about where you're living, about the people you're working for, about the things that you care about, the money you're making, the banks you're putting your money in. You think you know everything. You think everything's set in stone. So you don't want to learn anything more about where you're at. But there are people who want to know more about where they're at. We call them cynics, right? Skeptics. And these people look again. They look twice, maybe 4 or 5 times. And they know why. And they try to share why. And then the people with the introductory paradigm, they can't grasp what these people are saying. They sound crazy. Kind of like you, Zero. Like you sound crazy to some people, I'm pretty sure. And when people like that come around, they don't stay long, or even if they do stay long, they want to argue with you. And after they argue with you, the weird thing is, their paradigm closes their mind off from even going from that interaction. That's the scary part about it. Like, have you ever met someone who treated you better than you treat your damn self? I have many times. And it changed my paradigm. So I was like, why does this person revere and respect me more than I revere and respect my damn self? What's going on here? And after they would do that, I would revere and respect myself a lot more than I used to. But then you can meet people who get in those relationships and they get worse. They start drinking and doing drugs and smashing all kinds of people. And it's like, what's going on? What's happening? Like, the love of my life is gone forever. And you're like, what? Well, why are they the love of your life? They treated me so well, But I wasn't enough. It's like, bro, that's not the lesson you should learn. The lesson you should learn is you can treat yourself better. Change your paradigm. Change your center of focus. But so many people have their focus on other and not themselves. Like not their inside, their psychological being. They have their focus on their physiological being, which is connected to the society we're in. And that's a toxic way to live. You can't grow that way. You'll always be focused on material nonsense. You'll always fail. Your paradigm will never grow into a higher, more sophisticated, more free, more liberated sense of being.
I heard your words. People experience things, and you can just grow with it. I go to the movie theater. I drink a little bit before I go. It's a comedy. I loosen myself up a little bit. It seems a lot funnier sometimes when I'm a little inebriated. Opens me up to the humor. I go to a movie theater and I'm frustrated and it's a comedy, but I may miss half the jokes because I took my attitude in there and I really wasn't in the mood for a comedy because I was carrying some tension with me, or I go to watch an action movie, but I'm wound up. So I'm like, man, this movie is slow, but it's not slow. It's actually well paced. I'm just anxious. I'm just anxious to get to the what people call the good part. That's because I went in there wound up. So it's like, I think I know something about the movie but I'm forgetting the person that went in to watch it. So sometimes people read the Bible in certain mental and emotional spaces. Sometimes people read it when they're lonely. Sometimes people read it when they're angry. Sometimes people read it when they're bored. And sometimes people don't read it with a question in mind. They already got an answer in their head. And they reading the Bible trying to see if they can find out where the Bible confirms it. Like, haha, I knew I was right. You know, they were reading it to be validated. If you're reading it that way, then you gonna find what you're looking for.
Well, I know I'm not gonna read it that way because everything I say to you is wrong. So I can't read that Bible and feel confident in my understanding of it. If I'm a fool to you, I'm a fool to, let's say, my creator.
And me. Yeah.
So of course you, JoJo. Absolutely, I agree.
You're not a fool to me. You gotta be fooling yourself.
Oh shit, Nero. I've been a fool ever since the day we met, man. You crazy as a bit, fool.
So
Not a bad book. I hate those things.
If you are, like I said, there's nothing you can look for that you won't find. So if you look for it, you'll find it. But you gotta be honest with yourself on what you're looking for. You know, I'm like, what am I looking for? Not the thing, like, why am I looking? Like, if all of a sudden I was at the station and one of the guys' wife came up there and then he called her to one of the office and he closed the door. If I'm standing outside the door, why am I trying to listen to what he's saying to his wife? Like, what am I listening for? Like, not what am I trying to hear, but why am I trying to hear their conversation? So if I was reading the Bible and I was looking for God, what am I looking to God for? I can use that Cain and Abel story to give you an example. One of them was sacrificing its best things to this God for a show of appreciation, a show of love, a show of devotion, a show of obedience, a show of faith, a show of a lot of admirable qualities that this God seemed to like. The other one was doing it to show the other brother up, to do better than him in a competitive way, trying to gain favor by outdoing the other one. So one of them's offering got burnt up, and the other one's offering didn't get burnt up. Same concept. One man reads the Bible one time, and all of a sudden, let's just say something is revealed to him. And another man's been reading that same Bible for 10 years and doesn't feel like he's learned anything different than that first year. Well, it wasn't what you were reading, it was why you were reading it.
I also have heard it said, I had a doctor, I wasn't feeling well, and I go to her, and she's a very, very prophetic kind of woman, and she was like, have you been reading your Bible? Now, I have been in college at that time and took humanities, so I was like, it's other books. No, not really. I was kind of smug in my answer. And she smacked me on my forehead and she said, hey, you gotta read your Bible because every time you read it, it's gonna minister to you differently based on your experience. And I was like, oh wow. And that had fascinated me in a way because I had new people in different religious systems and denominations and churches that made it seem like, no, this is what it meant, and this is how you should take it, and this is what the interpretation is. Whereas, like, oh, when I started, especially like once I got through the Gospels, I was like, oh, I kind of see what's really going on in the world. It was like Jesus had put me up on game. I said all that to this, but it was ministering to me based on my experience. I still feel like when I meditate on the 23rd number of Psalms, like even new, deeper, revelations about my relationship with my master, it shows up like the new revelation just based on my experience. And I think like people are trying to read the Bible from a place, not from like their own experience or their own reality in their real life. Like they're trying to read it from a place like someone wrote this book and filled it with the answers. And the book is literally like a bunch of Aesop fables. You know what I'm saying? Like the teacher's going to ask at the end of the story, now what did y'all learn?
Hello? What did you watch?
You got a hot mic, Renzo.
Huh?
I said you got a hot mic. Solution.
Oh no, let him keep talking.
No. Hey, you.
No, don't
Yeah.
say nothing.
Hello?
Don't say nothing.
There we go.
Man, you always gotta do that, Q.
I'm reading them. Well, I could go along with what JoJo's saying. It is similar to Aesop fables or fables, but like I say all the time, you'll see what you want to see. When you want to see more, you'll see more. When you want to be confused, you'll be confused. Some people say this confuses me. I'm like, well, that's because you like being confused. And they say, no, I don't. And I say, yes, you do.
And that's why I feel like Q is helpless.
So,
but damn.
I didn't say that. JoJo said that. So I'm
the nigga want to be confused.
So I say sometimes, at least that's the way my uncle taught me. Sometimes if you really want to swim, just jump in the deep end. You'll drown or you'll learn how to swim. That's the way they taught me. But I didn't teach my kids that way.
I've been in the deep end many a time, have never drowned, but still think I don't know how to swim.
Well, I know how to survive, but I didn't know how to swim. But knowing that I could survive gave me strength. But I'll say that you gotta have the right reason for what you're looking for something, or it won't turn out the way that you are thinking it will, or maybe wanted them to. And I say this especially when it comes to gods or a singular God, because conceptually, they say that humans can't go to God. Like humans couldn't go to Olympus unless they were escorted in by a demigod, and then in the realm of Valhalla with Odin and the Rainbow Bridge, you couldn't reach it as a human being because they had guardians. You couldn't go to the underworld in Egyptian pantheons unless you had been given certain items to be able to cross different realms. And in Christianity, the concept is that no human can go to God. God has to come to you. Meaning concept was many will come, but few will be chosen. you know. So you have to put yourself in a position to be chosen. Meaning when you're reading it, you have to put your mind and spirit in a position to have the understanding. It's almost like picking a lock in my mind. Like if I was a person trying to pick a lock and they have to listen to when the tumbler falls into the little gap and they twist it back so you can hear the other tumbler without losing that first tumbler, and then you twist it again, you catch that third tumbler, and then the lock opens. You'll have to read it and let the body learn what it needs to learn, and twist it back and let the heart learn what it needs to learn, and then twist it one more time and let the mind learn what it needs to learn, and all of a sudden the book opens up to you, and you can now read it with the spirit. But I rarely know of anyone who's gotten the spirit of the book until they get their mind right, their heart right, and their bodies right with it. You know, if you read that book and you start seeing a black man and a Middle Eastern man, your body's way off. Because I'm like, if you think this book is still talking about races, then and anything physical, you start thinking it got more men in it than women, or women in it than men, and you might as well put the book down.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens when you start to read it and you start paying attention to who has the most power, Nimrod or Nebuchadnezzar, Ramses or Baal. You know, it's like you start reading and trying to figure out who the power figures are. And, I'm a tribe of Judah. I'm gonna be with this group. You know, you might as well put it down. Now you're in a mental space, and you was in a physical space, and if you start reading it, start thinking that it's talking all about love and forgiveness and happiness, I'm like, yeah, you need to put that down. Put the book down. You're trying to find the emotions that you like in the book. You're trying to find the thing that you want, like you want power in the book. You're trying to find the people that you like in the book. So you ain't trying to find God in the book. You gotta get those things straightened out, you know, because I heard someone say, well, mind you, this is Christian theology, but there's one part of it that seems to resonate in all religions, not just with the Christians. Is that every God created human beings. In every theology, human beings were created by God. That, whether you're talking about polytheism or monotheism, is the one thing that all of them say. So conceptually, they all are saying that human beings are created in their image. But when you go to different religions and you see their gods, some of their gods don't have arms and legs. They just look like bowls with eyes. Some of them look like snakes with wings, and crocodiles with fire coming out of their back. It's like, I've seen a lot of gods. And I'm like, damn, this thing that looks like a crocodile with fire coming out of his back is what created human beings. I mean, okay, so be it. But regardless, all of them are saying the same thing. They didn't create you in their physical image. They created you in their spiritual image, which means you have the same spiritual makeup as a God. Because gods are spiritual beings that take physical form. They aren't physical beings that take on spiritual forms. So, if they're spiritual beings that create physical forms, and you're created in their image, and then all of a sudden, the one true God is truly a crocodile with fire coming out of his back, and you run into him, and you're standing there talking to him. You're like, okay, I'm talking to a 20-foot tall crocodile with fire coming out of his back. If you still see the crocodile, then you shouldn't be in that realm, because you still see its physical appearance. If you're in a spiritual realm, you'll see its spiritual appearance, which wouldn't really have a physical appearance. Hence, in the Tao, it'll be like the form coming into contact with the formless, and you're processing it by giving it a form. But whatever form you see it in isn't its form. Whatever form you see it in, that's the limitation that it's allowing you to see it in, because you can't process it in its formlessness. So you're processing it in its form. It's the same way when I tell you guys I don't exist. You guys don't get it. But you will or can one day. So that's the reason why I don't try to say, yeah, we're going to go over Buddhism, we're going to read, and it's 5 popular branches in Buddhism, which another story. I don't even want to get into that. We can read the Tao Te Ching, because the Tao Te Ching is a little more, it's a little more poetic, I think, more structured. Can't go to Hinduism and read all the different Vedas and too many gods. That'll take forever. Can't go into Catholicism because there are just some interpretations inside Catholicism that I just don't get. I mean, we actually have to get a devout Catholic to break Catholicism. Now, I understand the basics, but there are some things in Catholicism where you just might as well throw the Bible away, because they have at least 2 other books that are equal to, if not superior to, the Bible. And then you go into the big 3 Abrahamic faiths, which pretty much all the same, but they think of themselves different, which is the Christians and the Muslims and what the people now call pseudo-spirituality, which everyone who builds off pseudo-spirituality pretty much is either ex-Christian or ex-Muslim. So you get, but they say sales is a game of numbers. So whenever you're trying to sell something, there's a room full of 20 people, and you start making your pitch, just know from the very beginning, 10 people were there just to see if they could take advantage of something, or came with a friend or something. 10 people shut you down the moment you start talking. The other 10 people, out of that 10, 7 of them, they'll get back to you. But 3 people in there, 2 of them, they're on the hook. They're on the hook. They're very interested in it. If you can make it fit their lifestyle and their budget, they're in. But it's gonna be this one person that's listening to you, and you reached a certain point in your pitch where they already knew they win. They're just waiting for you to reach the point where you're gonna say sign up. So out of 20 people, you usually can get 3, and then you go do another seminar, and 100 people might show up. 100 people gonna show up, but you're only gonna get 3 or 4 best to sign up. Sales is a game of numbers. You go to any cathedral, any mosque, any church, any temple, any hall. And I don't care how many people got the religious emblem tattooed on them, and I don't care how they can pray to their God until blisters come on their knees. It's only going to be about 2 or 3 people in there that know what they're talking about. And I doubt any of them are going to be the ones on stage. So that's typically the way I see it, because you got to see it for yourself. It's kind of like what they say, that you can't tell people about the Matrix. You can only show it to them. So it's kind of hard to tell people about God. You can only show them how to reach them, but you can't tell them about him. That's the way I look at it. But isn't it honor that way? At least from my viewpoint. Isn't it honor to go somewhere? Like, let's say you go to the Great Wall of China this year, the summer. And then I go in the winter. And we went to the same place. And then I'm like, man, what did you think about the Great Wall of China? And you start telling me about the experience of being there, but you can't take the summer out of the experience, because the heat affected how you experienced the Great Wall of China. And then I tell you about the Great Wall of China, but I went in the winter. And me and you could think about the differences of what we were able to do while we were there, simply because of the different temperature. I think it's really cool to describe how we met our spirituality more so than trying to define it. Like, let's just describe it on how we met it. And then you might be like, man, I'm going to try to go see the Great Wall in the winter. So I'm like, man, I might go in the spring one time. Or like, hey, let's both go during the Chinese Zodiac. We're going to go during the Chinese New Year. We're not going to go during the American New Year. We're going to, when it's New Year's in China, we're going to be out at the Great Wall at the New Year. They do an amazing fireworks show and da-da-da-da. So this time, we're not going to go in the winter, and this time, we're not going to go in the summer. Amazing enough, Chinese New Year is, which may say spring. So, boom. See, now the difference is I went by myself in the winter, you went by yourself in the summer. But this time we went together in the spring, and now it's 3 different things different. Number 1, spring. Number 2, it's both of our second time, so we're going to go with a little knowledge of what you could do there. And then 3 times is going to be the first time I went with somebody else. So it'll change the whole experience because the variables are constantly changing. To me, truth and understanding work this way. Because, I used to say all the time, learning the truth and learning yourself are similar as, like I said, no man can stand in the same river twice. You step into a river, whatever water you were standing in, it's not the same water that you're standing in 1 second later. And if there's a river of truth and truth is ever flowing, then when I get in it, I can still be in the truth, but I'll never be in the same truth because it's constantly moving. And if I want to keep up with it, I'm going to have to stop standing. I'm actually have to lay down in it and get into the flow of it. I was talking to Maisie about this, and she was talking about being in the ocean and the undercurrent on how you could step into the water, and the water can be just a shifting and a moving while you're in it. And you can only go like 4 or 5 feet out there into the ocean, and that undercurrent or the current of the water itself is slowly pushing you left or right. And you can be with a group of people, and they're on the beach, and you just think you playing in the water, and then you get ready to get out. You like 40 feet down from the beach. You like, how they get way over there? Because it was just, the ocean was slowly carrying your butt away. I think when you get into the truth and you get into the flow of it, it'll slowly carry you away from some people. You'll get like after go get with my people, and you see they don't even look like your people no more. They so far away. Because once you let the truth flow in you, it takes you out of the position you used to be in. You don't even have to move out of your position. It'll just take you out of your position. You just gotta lay down and see. I say all the time, people who have trust issues are going to have truth issues. People who don't know how to trust. When I used to try to teach people how to swim, they could do the strokes, all the strokes that require physical force, skill, and coordination. They mastered it. All the types of swimming, like floating, that actually require for you to lay back and just have like a little bit of breath work, but for the most part, some people say, no, I'm too heavy, or I'm not buoyant enough. They're like, I don't have enough buoyancy in my bone density, and bullshit. Relax. Stop trying to float and just float. Just lay back and believe that the water's gonna hold you, and it'll hold you. Tensing up, and it ain't gonna hold you. Most people I just give up on. Like, you don't know how to trust the water. Same way I say when people read spiritual books. Go ahead and read the Quran all you want to. You're still a Middle Eastern traditional lost person. Read it as much as you want to. You're still a hyperactive, hyper-powered American. Read this book as much as you want to. You're still a black. You're still black. You might as well just burn that book. Burn all of them. Your culture, your people aren't ready to lay back in the water. You'll drown. You'll drown trying to find God. Because you're too heavy. You won't let shit go. That's where it comes. That's how most people come off to it. But I can say this. Amunet is new to the group. When Amunet has moved me, she's the one that convinced me to start back opening up the ICU, the one that convinced me to start doing the meditations, the one that convinced me to kind of look away from what happened in the past when I started trying to show people stuff and try again. And Q, you have been very open and vulnerable and close and loyal and all of that. So if Q wants to start a thing where he picks scripture from the Quran or the Torah or the Christian Bible and he wants to start isolating a scripture every now and again just to bounce thoughts off of it, then I say I'll do it with you. Simply out of my appreciation to you. I appreciate that, Zero. Thank you.
Well, Zero, since you're giving out gifts, I'll just take mine.
I just want to say it's nice to step into what you meant to do anyway. So this is just an interesting way of getting to it.
Well, last day of our weekend, ladies and gentlemen, I'm at the house, have a little drink, and so don't forget we got a fast coming up, and we have a meditation coming up. So we might meditate Saturday, and our fast may start Sunday. So that's a little heads up. So until then, I catch you guys on the flip side.
All right, Pastor Zero.
All right, Zero. Appreciate it.
Just looking to, you don't have to fucking respond or anything, but looking to Cape Gallego, Jew, and City Manager Jeff Martin of Phoenix. They both pushed the COVID vaccine. This is a crime against humanity. Looking to Rep. Greg Stanton, who is promoting, and the rest of the Republicans in Arizona. They're all promoting the new police chief of Phoenix, Matthew Giordano. So all the Shabbos boys and Jews are promoting someone who's in law enforcement. That's a major red flag.
Some jobs
Eli
they
Crane,
do.
they're all cooked. So if you're listening and you hear me, fucking look into shit, or I'm going to show up at your office real fucking soon.
I know personally he is good people, and Kate Gallego that you talked about, I'm going to give you another name. Daisy Montoya, DACEYMONTOYA. She was the campaign treasurer for Kate Gallego. This is Ruben Gallego's ex-wife. Ruben Gallego from Humpty Dumpty Institute, where he works directly for Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, and is an illegitimate senator, was not fucking elected. Kate Gallego, her Phoenix mayoral campaign was literally run by Daisy Montoya. Who is that? Is also the treasurer of Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX. Right? Daisy Montoya is from British Columbia. She is a fucking operative that basically controls the DNC, Mossad or GCHQ or both.
Somewhere, David, where the
And she
Confederate
is
flag is.
one of the key money launderers for all of these Bolshevik politicians from the DNC. You know, it's basically Bolshevism on the left and Likudnik's, Jabotinsky Zionists on the right. So neither one is conducive or can be allowed as fostered in this country. But this is a key operative. And when I was in Arizona working with investigators for the stolen 2022 election in Arizona, Daisy Montoya was the person that I had identified that was the common thread between, you know, Kay Gallego and Adrian Fontes, Stephen Richard, and, you know, Mark Kelly, his wife, Kathy Giffords, ADL gun-grabbing operative of Mossad and fucking Michael Bloomberg. Mark Kelly is illegitimate as fuck. He was not elected. However, the problem is, who was the alternative? Well, that would be Peter Thiel's homeboy, Blake Masters. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. We've got to get some good politicians running and legitimately elected in Arizona, and it sucks because AZ is such a cool state with such awesome people. It probably has the most corrupt political framework of any state that I can think of. I mean, maybe New York, maybe South Florida, but like, if it, you know, next to DC, Arizona is as bad as it gets in this country. And the national RNC committee man for a long time, Bruce Ash, literally the chairman of GOP Israel, why that exists, who fucking knows, and literally the chairman at one point of the Jewish Federations of Southern Arizona, a Mossad arm, the Arizona Mossad arm of the Jewish Federations of North America. So you guys got tons and tons of problems down there. I empathize and I pour my heart and soul into that state, and I love Arizona. But Maricopa GOP is somebody that I don't talk, let me be clear, I don't talk to a lot of the people that I used to work with in Arizona, especially after 2022, at least not anymore, because many of them have petered away and proven themselves to be limited hangouts and adversarial to America-only interests. Maricopa GOP is not one of them. He is good people.
Thank you for clearing that up, Richard. No shots taken, but we need to start fucking talking about shit that's important for humanity, and there's no more tucking your tail between your fucking legs. And that goes for everybody in here. Get the comments on all these corrupt politicians. But just to get to the topic of Epstein, Tucker, and more, if anyone's questioning Epstein and his ties to fucking Mossad, we need to look into Meyer Lansky, who was blackmailing J. Edgar Hoover since the inception of the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the people who are supposed to be investigating all the fucking crimes, these federal crimes. Now, this is from J. Edgar Hoover ran the FBI from 1935 to 1972. If we think that they just gave up one of the most powerful fucking positions, most powerful agencies in the country in 1972, because this guy got ushered out, come back to Earth, and realized